Chapter 146. That's right. She ran away from the marriage. This was a matter that had been decided long ago, so it was impossible for her to go back on her word. I didn't expect that my sister would secretly run away after she found out about it. She didn't even leave a single message behind. Zhu Yuxuan sighed and said, I admit that it was a bit forced on my sister, but the result was good for her. Marrying into a powerful family would be of great help to her in the future. Then who did she marry? Tianyan asked. The son of the second elder of Qing Xian Mansion. I believe that young master already knows about Qing Xian Mansion. It's not a weak family here. If the two families could unite through marriage, it would be good for both the Star Pavilion and my sister. Zhu Yuxuan's beautiful eyes flickered as she said, Young master, what do you think? Qing Xian Mansion? Tianyan's complexion became a bit strange. He didn't expect that he would have a relationship with Qing Xian Mansion. His complexion sank as he said, if she thought that it was good, she wouldn't have run away from home. I understand your difficulties, but it's a pity that this reason makes me even more reluctant to tell you. But I won't tell anyone about it. You can rest assured about this. Everyone's complexion changed. They thought that Tianyan would tell them, but they didn't expect that he would refuse in the end. If there's nothing else, please give me the materials I need. I still have something to do. Tianyan waved his hand and turned around to leave. At this time, Zhu Yuxuan quickly ran over and stood in front of Tianyan. With her cultivation, it was impossible for her to stop Tianyan, but she still stood up and opened her arms to stop him. Young master, I beg you to tell me where my sister is. If it wasn't for the fact that I already have a Dao companion, I would have already replaced my sister and married in a Qing Xian mansion. If this continues, our Zhu family will be finished. Tianyan was startled. This Zhu Yuxuan really had a bit of determination. If it wasn't so urgent, he believed that they wouldn't have made such a choice. How so? Tianyan asked. Our Zhu family status in the Star Pavilion is declining day by day. If this continues, we won't be able to stand firm in the Star Pavilion, Zhu Yuxuan said in a deep voice. So, you plan to rely on Zhu Yue and the Qing Xian Mansion to make the Zhu family have a higher status in the Star Pavilion? Tianyan had already understood the ins and outs of the matter. It was actually a marriage alliance, using Zhu Yue as a condition to get them to support the Zhu family. Yes, I'm sorry, but there's no other way. Zhu Yuxuan clenched her teeth. She was determined to sacrifice her sister to save the entire Zhu family. Tianyan looked at them deeply. To be honest, relying on one person to save the entire Zhu family is very childish. Only by becoming stronger can we have the right to speak. He said he relied on others, but when he abandoned you, he didn't hesitate at all. He's telling the truth. What's the use of marriage? Jade Palace and Qing Xian Mansion already had many marriages. What was the result? That's abandoning them. Without strength, they will be replaced. This time, unless Zhu Yue is strong enough to defy the heavens, or has the absolute right to speak. Otherwise, there's no point in marrying her. But if that's the case, Zhu family won't be in this situation. Zhu Yuxuan and the others were silent. When she wanted to continue to say something, Tianyan added another sentence. Don't say anything more. Bring me my reward. There's no point in forcing it. I won't say it. Little Zhu, go and bring the reward. Our Star Pavilion isn't like this. Deacon Huang sighed and motioned Zhu Yuxuan to bring the reward. After Zhu Yuxuan took a deep look at Tianyan, she turned around and went to get the reward. After a while, she came back with the reward and put it in the storage ring. After Tianyan took a little check, there are indeed 15 sets of low-grade soul tool materials. Good. When Tianyan saw so many sets of materials, he nodded with satisfaction. It's a pleasure to cooperate with you. After that, he turned around and left. He didn't continue to stay here. Before leaving, his eyes flickered, and their favorability was shown in front of him. From the original 100 points of favorability, it instantly dropped to 20 points. It seems that even if the favorability is forcibly increased by the task, if something happens, it will drop in minutes. But when he saw a person, he suddenly froze. Among so many people in front of him, there is one person whose favorability did not drop. and that is Zhu Yuxuan. Favorability directly soared to 150 points. This made him feel strange. By the way, I almost forgot to tell you, even if you want to find a backer, don't look for Qing Xian Mansion. Yi Tianyan walked 2 steps and suddenly stopped. Why? Zhu Yuxuan wondered. Because Qing Xian Mansion is about to be destroyed. After hearing Yi Tianyan's words, they were stunned on the spot. When he left, Deacon Huang and the others nodded and said in a deep voice, "He is quite arrogant. I wonder which big sect he is from? If the profound Azure Mansion is finished, then it would need to be at least a 3rd or 4th grade force to be able to eradicate it. Then should we believe him or follow him to see where he went?" Another deacon asked, "As long as we find the direction, we can easily find him. The Earth boundary continent is quite large. Although the Star Pavilion is powerful, it does not mean that they can do everything. Otherwise, they will not be able to find him until now. In addition to the Earth boundary continent, there are other scattered continents in the Heavenly boundary continent, so they have no idea where Zhu Yue is. Forget it. He is stronger than you. Can you follow him? And he has a blacksmith who can forge soul armaments. He is definitely a disciple of a big force. Maybe he can really destroy Qing Xian Mansion. I don't know how Qing Xian Mansion provoked them." Deacon Huang shook his head. "Are we just going to let it go? Where is Zhu Yue? So, what if Qing Xian Mansion is destroyed? What are we going to do?" One of the deacons was very dissatisfied. "We need to find a backer. Otherwise our family will be pushed out. I will go after him." Zhu Yuxuan gritted her teeth and quickly chased after him. Before they could say anything, Zhu Yuxuan had already run downstairs. They looked at each other, not knowing what to say. "Let her be." Deacon Huang frowned. No one knew what he was thinking. Zhu Yuxuan quickly chased after Yi Tianyan. She saw Yi Tianyan's figure from afar and quickly caught up with him. "Young master, wait." Yi Tianyan turned his head to look at her. "What?" He didn't think that Zhu Yuxuan would chase after him. "If you see my sister, give this to her." Zhu Yuxuan walked over and handed a jade pendant to Yi Tianyan. "This is?" Yi Tianyan looked at the jade pendant. It didn't look like much, but it was a fine piece of jade. It wasn't a treasure, but it wouldn't help with cultivation. "This is the jade pendant that I always carry with me. Give it to my sister and tell her to never come back." Zhu Yuxuan bit her lips and her eyes were red. "It's our fault. Since I'm already in this state, I can't let my sister suffer. To be honest, I was the one who asked my sister to escape." "What?" Yi Tianyan was stunned. Zhu Yuxuan couldn't wait to catch his sister. Was it all an act? If Zhu Yuxuan didn't stop him, he would have told her where Zhu Yue was. After all, Deacon Huang didn't reveal the reason why she left. "Just bring this jade pendant back." Zhu Yuxuan smiled. Tears fell from her eyes. "Even if the Zhu family is destroyed, at least my sister is gone." Chapter 147. Yi Tianyan found a place to settle down, not too far away, just inside Tianjin City. He was not in a hurry to leave. 3 months is still quite long, so he was in a hurry along the way, so the situation is not too bad. It didn't take much time. He opened his hand and looked at the jade pendant in his hand and sighed deeply. He finally knew why Zhu Yuxuan has a good impression of him. He has been concealing the news of Zhu Yuxuan. Naturally can make her have a good impression and not hostile to him. This is enough to prove that Zhu Yuxuan is not lying to him, but has been acting before. The play just now is too realistic, but if it is not realistic, how can those deacons believe it? Now he has enough reason to believe that Zhu Yue can't be found for so long, but because of interference. If it wasn't for the fact that the Earth border continent is too big, maybe they can find it by exploring occasionally. It is very likely that Zhu Yuxuan interfered with them, so they can't find it. But even she doesn't know where Zhu Yue went. To keep this secret, the best way is to keep it a secret. At most, she knows that it is in the Earth border continent, but she naturally doesn't know the details. Could it be that Pavilion Master Z? No, Pavilion Master Zhu worked so hard for the Star Pavilion? Yi Tianyan was silent, thinking about it carefully. Zhu Yue is very persistent. At that time, she was extremely eager to let him stay, in order to stabilize her position, and then grasp the real power. If there is no real power, there is no right to speak, then everything is in vain. Relying on outsiders is always meaningless. Only when I become stronger can I control everything. Etienne's eyes are cold. He now feels that he is still too weak. Facing the pressure of Qingxian Mansion, he must force himself to become stronger quickly. If it is an ordinary cultivator, it is estimated that they would have already accepted their fate, but he is different, since he could be resurrected here. Then he will not admit defeat. Start refining, sell everything for crazy points. Etienne took out the materials to refine a soul tool. When he was ready to refine, the success rate is so low that it really makes him want to vomit blood. 20% success rate is really too low. He shook his head. It is similar to his previous estimate. Activate Luck Aura. After activating the Lucky Aura, the probability increased from 20% to 50%. Why isn't it a 100% success rate? Etienne was dumbfounded. His Lucky Halo should be able to increase his luck by 10 times, but in reality, there was no such thing as a 100% success rate. After further inspection, Etienne realized that the effect could only be so great. The success rate could only reach 50%. In the later stages, he could only rely on his own strength to increase his success rate. He could not rely on his luck alone to reach a 100% success rate. This is the same principle as in the heavens immersing ancient ruins. You can find the array core by luck, but without the corresponding level, you won't know how to crack it. Just relying on luck was not enough. Knowledge was also needed. Looks like the system is still fair. It won't do if you don't have the ability. Etienne shook his head. Although it was a pity, he accepted it. If it was completely universal, it would be too heaven-defying. The success rate of crafting a heaven-level weapon is less than 10%. It would be ridiculous if the success rate was increased to 100% under the terrifying luck. This meant that those who didn't know much in the first place were forced to learn it. This was no longer luck, but foul play. Even so, a 50% success rate is already amazing. At least a 50% success rate is quite surprising. No, I still have the forging hammer. He remembered that he still has a little thing, a small hammer. After equipping it, the success rate suddenly increased from 50% to 60%. Very good little thing. Etienne's eyes lit up. He has never used such a thing before. The main reason is that the success rate is 100%, so there is not much point in equipping it. But now that he thought about it, the effect is quite good after equipping it. Start crafting. Etienne immediately began to refine, using immortal fire to melt the materials, and then continue to quench them. Ding, successfully crafting low-grade soul tool. Reward, 10,000 EXP. Proficiency plus 500. Finally, after refining for half a day, he successfully crafted a low-grade soul tool. 10,000 EXP. Not bad. Etienne's eyes lit up. The experience gained from crafting a soul tool is not bad, but it takes a long time. Otherwise, it would be a good way to cultivate. It takes half a day to successfully craft one. He can only craft 30 to 40 in a month. It is obviously not cost-effective. Let's see how much I can sell it for. Etienne clicked on the inventory and chose to sell this low-grade soul tool. Suddenly, the system popped up a message. Price: 10,000 crazy point. 10,000 crazy point. Etienne thinks it's okay. In the case of not killing monsters crazily, it's already very good to be able to sell a tool at this price. This method is not dangerous and relatively safe, but it is more time-consuming. After refining this batch, I'll go and see if there are any monsters nearby that I can kill. Etienne decided to finish this batch first, and then upgrade to crazy mode. After that, he can go out and kill monsters to level up. After that, he continued to forge. There were successes and failures in forging soul armaments. Although the success rate was as high as 60%, there was still a chance of failure. Ding, successfully upgraded Immortal Fire to Earth level. Flame effect increased tenfold. Refining time and alchemy time reduced by half. Success rate increased. The next level requires 10,000 proficiency. A piece of information that suddenly popped up made his spirit jolt. He had almost forgotten that the inextinguishable flame could be upgraded. because whether it is refining pills or weapons, it can only increase one proficiency, so he forgot about it for so long. He just completed the proficiency, and the effect that popped out surprised him. Not only the refining time is shortened, but also the success rate is increased. This immortal fire is really a good thing. No, as long as I upgrade it, the effect will definitely not be bad. Etianyin was pleasantly surprised. In this way, the refining time that originally took half a day can be successfully refined in less than half a day. Let's see how much the success rate has increased. He checked the situation and found that the success rate has increased to 80%. Another 2 levels, although not very high, but it is quite amazing. It's a pity that if I want to improve the proficiency of this thing, I need to have the same flame. In addition to buying it in the shop, there is really no other way to improve it. Etianyin shook his head, looking at the 10,000 crazy point in the shop. He can only silently shake his head. Chapter 148. With the earth-grade inextinguishable flame, the speed at which he refined the weapon increased, especially the success rate. 15 sets of materials were refined in a few days. It would have taken more than 10 days before, but now it has been shortened to a few days. I'm selling them all. Etianyin didn't hesitate and sold the 12 soul tools in one go, 3 of which failed and broke. When all of them were sold, the value of Crazy Point jumped to more than 1.01 million. His heart jumped. Enough for 1 million. When he saw the value, he was very excited. He finally reached 1 million Crazy Point. This is a value that was unimaginable before, but now it is abruptly reached. Level up. Without hesitation, he immediately chose to level up Crazy Mode. This is the most important divine skill. Not only can it increase damage, but also increase experience. There are other scattered effects, but they all have great advantages. Ding! Deducting 1 million Crazy Point, successfully leveled up Crazy Mode to level 3. Crazy Mode level 3. All effects enhanced to 8 times, can selectively enhance damage, experience multiplier. Due to leveling up to level 3, proficiency multiplier increased by 2 times. Consumes 1,000 Crazy Point per minute. The next level requires 10 million Crazy Point. Etianyin was happy. The effect has been enhanced to 8 times, the same as the previous calculation. At this rate, the next level is 16 times. A full 16 times damage or experience is crazy enough. Now there is another effect, that is to increase proficiency by 2 times. It is also a pleasant surprise. He has enough reason to believe that there will be more times in the future, or other modes will be added, such as Crazy Point doubling mode. These are all possible. 1,000 Crazy Point per minute. It is more cost-effective than Lucky Aura. When Etianyin saw the amount of Crazy Point consumed, it is actually not a big problem. Consuming 1,000 Crazy Point per minute is not a big problem. Lucky Aura is calculated in seconds, while Crazy Mode is calculated in minutes. Of course, it is more cost-effective. Right, there are still 10 lottery draws. Let's finish them all. Immediately, Etianyin immediately opened the lottery roulette because the rewards above are not so tempting to him. So he basically doesn't draw anymore. Of course, he would be more than happy to give it to him in exchange for lottery chances. Very quickly, he finished the 10 lucky draws and obtained many things, but they were all experience pills, some weapons, and some defensive equipment. There were no divine skills at all. Either he didn't have the corresponding godly skill, or he couldn't draw it. They're all relatively ordinary stuff. It's a pity that I didn't get life this time. He was basically indifferent to the items in the lottery. They were not very useful to him. As a spirit core stage cultivator, what else did he need? In particular, the standard of these items was relatively low. They were all common iron-grade weapons and armor, which were not very useful to him at all. He nodded, feeling that it was about time to go out and gather some information. He had been in this room for a whole week. When he walked down the stairs, he heard the discussion before he even walked down the stairs. I don't know what's going on, but many experts from the Qingxin mansion have been dispatched. I saw 7 or 8 giant eagles, but I don't know where they went. I heard that they're going to seek revenge. It seems that some sect killed their disciple, and now they are going to seek revenge. What? Which sect is so powerful that they dare to go against the Qingxin mansion? The Holen was talking about this matter, and it was quite lively. Etienne's face changed, and he quickly came in front of them. He slapped a gold ingot on the table and said in a deep voice, "Who knows the current situation of the Qingxian mansion? Tell me, and this gold ingot is yours." The faces of the guests who were slapped on the table darkened, and they felt that Etienne was very rude. But when they saw the gold ingot, their eyes suddenly lit up. I know. One of the cultivators immediately stood up and said, "I know the situation. The one who provoked the Qingxian mansion is a third-grade sect, and they are very strong. It seems that they killed the elder of the Qingxian mansion." What do you know? If you don't know, then don't talk nonsense. I heard that it is a first-grade sect who provoked the Qingxian mansion, and it seems that they killed the elder of the Qingxian mansion. That's why they sent so many experts. How can a first-grade sect kill the elder of the Qingxian mansion? Aren't you talking nonsense? It is at least a third-grade sect who can kill the elder of the Qingxian mansion. The two of them began to quarrel. They didn't believe that a first-grade sect could kill the elder of the Qingxian mansion. The elder of the Qingxian mansion was at least at the spirit core stage, so how could a first-grade sect kill him? Unless the elder was lying on the ground, and they could kill him at will. You tell me. Etienne pointed at the cultivator who said that a first-grade sect killed the elder. Let me tell you, the cultivator said excitedly. I just heard that a first-level faction offended the profound Azure Mansion. That's about it, that's all. When did this happen? Etienne asked. It happened a few days ago. Today, people from the Qingxian mansion started to go to the Earth border continent. I don't know what they're going to do. The cultivator said hurriedly. It happened a few days ago. Etienne's face darkened. He thought that he would have 3 months to prepare, but now, in less than a month, they have already started to move. This was too fast. He was silent for a while, then turned around and said, "This gold ingot is yours." After that, he disappeared from the door. The cultivator was stunned at first, then immediately picked up the gold ingot and said ecstatically, "Great, this gold is mine." How is this possible? You are talking nonsense. How can a first-grade sect kill the elder of the Qingxian mansion? I'm not talking nonsense. This is what I heard. I don't know if it is true or not, but anyway, he believed me. They began to quarrel, not believing each other's words. No matter how they quarrel, Etienne can no longer hear them, and hurriedly rushed out of the city. Things have changed a bit. The reaction speed is a bit faster, but it will take a while to find the heavens immersing ancient ruins. Etienne thought about it. This can be said that the plan cannot keep up with the changes. 3 months' time has been compressed to 1 month. At most, he can wander outside for half a month. In half a month, he can definitely find the hiding place of Jade Palace and Qingxian Mansion, but he can't wander outside at will. After all, it was better to be safe than sorry. If something really happened, then it would really be over. When he quickly retreated, someone immediately looked at his figure and wanted to chase after him. But in the end, they retreated back to Star Pavilion. Elder Huang, that person has already left. It seems that he inquired about the news of Qingxian Mansion, and then quickly left. The whole heavenly new city is full of spies, so they know every move of Etienne, and they know everything he does. After knowing the news of Qingxian Mansion, he immediately left. Elder Huang squinted. If it was before, we should have guessed that he has something to do with Qingxian Mansion, but now it seems that it doesn't matter. Then it has something to do with Jade Palace. Is he from Jade Palace? But that's not right. Jade Palace is just a first-grade sect. How can there be such a young male disciple? Their information is limited. From the previous reminder of Etienne, they can determine that it has nothing to do with Qingxian Mansion. If it has something to do with Qingxian Mansion, then it is absolutely impossible to say that Qingxian Mansion will be destroyed. What do we do now? The guard next to him asked. Investigate Jade Palace in detail. Elder Huang said solemnly, I want to see if Zhu Yue is in Jade Palace. Chapter 149. Search them. They must not have gone far. Kang Haoyin, the leader of the core condensation realm cultivators, glanced sharply at the forest in front of him. Looking at the dense forest, it's definitely a good place to hide people. Under this leader's command, dozens of spirit refinement realm cultivators around him quickly searched around. No matter which corner is carefully searched, they won't miss any corner. The whole forest is no longer peaceful. It's full of murderous aura, coupled with the solidified ice and snow around. It's scary. Fortunately, there is only a group of cultivators here. If the disciples of Jade Palace are here, they will definitely be shocked by this murderous aura. Inside a cave, they sense the heavy footsteps coming from above their heads. The Jade Palace disciples hiding in the cave panicked. Their faces were full of panic. They were very afraid of the vibration. "Elder, are we safe hiding here?" One of the female disciples asked worriedly. "It shouldn't be a problem. As long as we don't dig up the entire ground, they won't be able to discover our secret passageway, even if we dig another 20 to 30 feet. Great Elder Mo tightly clenched the sword in her hand. Her expression looks calm, but her heart is already a little panicked. There are not many disciples hiding in the secret passage, just a few disciples. The purpose of coming out is very simple. That is to contact the people of Wind Pavilion so that they can bring back some food. After all, there are so many people in heaven's immersing ancient ruins. There is no way to farm, so it's impossible to be self-sufficient. They must come out to buy food. If they want to buy a lot of rations at once, they can't buy it in a short time. Under normal circumstances, their Jade Palace is self-sufficient, plus a little bit of food is transported back. At most, they can store a few days of food, rarely a month of food. Even if they let the store to prepare, it's impossible to prepare so much food at once. Who could prepare rations for hundreds or even thousands of people for a few months at a time? So after they explained, they came out to choose a remote area to trade. They didn't expect Qingxian Mansion to send people to investigate. They quickly evacuated, but in the process of evacuation, they were still seen. Great Elder Mo, you can definitely escape, but her disciples can't escape. She can't leave them alone. As soon as he finished speaking, there was a vibration above their heads. It was obvious that they were approaching. They had simply covered the entrance of the cave. Although they couldn't see anything from the outside, they would definitely be found if they continued to search. Let's continue looking at this side. The sound was getting closer and closer. There were a lot of disciples outside the Qingxian Mansion. There were even 2 core condensation experts. It would be impossible for Great Elder Mo to deal with them alone. "Great Elder, what should we do?" They all trembled, revealing expressions of fear. Great Elder Mo showed a sad expression, sighed deeply, and said, "We can't avoid this disaster. This may be our Jade Palace's great disaster." Dong, dong, dong. Violent footsteps could be heard from above, and every single one of them pounded on their hearts, causing their breathing to become incomparably heavy. As they got closer and closer, they knew that if they continued to wait here, they would undoubtedly die. Especially since they only have one exit, it's even more impossible for them to escape. "Later, we'll sneak out from the exit. If we can escape, we'll be lucky. If we're really caught, I hope you'll be more resolute." Great Elder Mo painfully closed her eyes. The resoluteness in her words was akin to suicide. If they were caught alive, they would definitely be greatly humiliated. "We will." The female disciples showed a resolute look. Although they don't want to die, it's better than being humiliated. Soon after, Great Elder Mo brought them to the exit, and after making a hole, they quickly ran up. Only after Great Elder Mo saw that there was no one around did she bring the disciples out of the tunnel and quickly escape. Who knows? Just after a few steps, they were immediately discovered, and a roar came. "They are here!" With this roar, the surrounding people have rushed over, completely blocking their escape route. There is nowhere to escape. "Elder of Jade Palace, why are you in such a hurry? The elders and deacons we sent are gone. I don't know what's going on. Can you tell us?" Kong Haotian's face is grim. The people they sent are gone, and Jade Palace is empty. There is no doubt that they ran away. As for why they evacuated, there is no doubt that they must have done something wrong. They immediately began to search the mountain, looking around, and sure enough, they found some people, and they are elder level. Clang! Many disciples have drawn their sword. Sword light flashed, but facing so many powerful enemies, they feel that it is difficult to attack. Especially there are 2 strong core condensation cultivators around, and there are many spirit refinement cultivators they can't escape. I don't know what happened to them. It has nothing to do with us. Great Elder Mo, you naturally won't admit anything, looking at them coldly. It has nothing to do with you. Do you think we will believe this explanation? Kong Haotian sneered and said, You must have used some method to kill them or imprison them. No matter what the reason is, either you choose to come with us, or we will forcibly capture you. They were ice cold. If they were to surrender without a fight, then everything would be over. What are you doing? At this time, Zhu Yue hurried over with her people. She originally came to meet with Great Elder Mou. She prepared a lot of food. Vaguely, she noticed that there is something wrong with Jade Palace, and now it seems that they have provoked the behemoth Qing Xian Mansion. It turned out to be Pavilion Lord Z of Wind Pavilion. I don't know what problem you have, Kong Haotian said solemnly. If there is no problem, please leave quickly, otherwise don't blame us for being impolite. Pavilion Lord Z, the opposite side is Qing Xian Mansion. We should evacuate. The elder next to her hurriedly persuaded. Qing Xian Mansion is much stronger than Jade Palace. Zhu Yue's eyes are cold. Suddenly pulled out her spirit sword, pointed at the people of Qing Xian Mansion, and said angrily, Go! Roar! Her trusted subordinates immediately moved, and the guards with her completely obeyed her order and followed in one fell swoop. The elder next to her face is black and hurriedly led his people to the back. You dare to fight against Qing Xian Mansion. I will now expel you from Wind Pavilion. From now on, you have nothing to do with Wind Pavilion. The elder quickly evacuated with his people and shouted loudly. His face is full of horror. Zhu Yue ignored him and directly led the guards to kill the people of Qing Xian Mansion. You guys quickly escape this way. Zhu Yue's beautiful eyes flashed. We will escape together. The battle has already begun. Yi Tianyun is rushing here. Riding on the Black Dragon is extremely fast. On the way to Qing Xian Mansion people, there is no doubt that he will kill them. I hope I can make it in time. Don't let anything happen. Yi Tianyun's face is getting more and more gloomy. His cultivation has improved a lot, but he still feels very small. Chapter 150. Zhu Yue helped Great Elder break out of the encirclement, which made them stunned. No one thought that the Pavilion Lord of Wind Pavilion would choose to help them break out of the encirclement. This means that they're going against Qing Xian Mansion. This is simply courting death. Pavilion Lord Ziyu? Great Elder doesn't know what to say. Let's go, young master. He has helped me so much. I didn't choose to help him before. That's because my power is too weak, but this time it's different. I have the corresponding power. I can mobilize the corresponding power. The most important thing is to follow my heart. Zhu Yue's beautiful eyes flashed with a strange light. She is such a person who knows how to repay kindness. The most important thing is to stay in Wind Pavilion. She is tired of staying there. In addition to being a puppet, she can't do anything she wants. She knows that Wind Pavilion has its own difficulties, so she has to do it herself. But this is against Qing Xian Mansion. Great Elder felt that her brain is not enough to process. Because young Master Yi is my friend, and Jade Palace has always been cooperating with us. So if there is any difficulty, we will definitely help you. Zhu Yue smiled indifferently. She is ready to go all out. Great Elder knows that Zhu Yue can help them. In fact, because of Yi Tianyun, she chose to go all out to help them. But is it really worth risking her life for this? Whether it is worth it or not, it depends on what Zhu Yue thinks. If Yi Tianyun is here, seeing Zhu Yue's favorability towards him will definitely break through to more than 200 level. Well, as long as we can survive this time, Pavilion Lord Z will be the most distinguished guest of our Jade Palace. Let's go, let's fight them. Great Elder roared, waved her sword, and rushed towards Kong Haotian not far away. She wants to take the lead and kill them all. Unexpectedly, just as Kong Haotian swung his sword, Kong Haotian sneered. He flew up, raised a large saber in his hand, and slammed it down heavily. A terrifying power burst out, and a sharp saber light descended from the sky, pressing down heavily. There is nowhere to escape. The murderous aura instantly targeted Great Elder, making her unable to escape. Obviously, there is an empty space around her, but she is locked. There is a feeling that she can't escape. Open for me! The great elder swung the long sword in his hand with all his might and quickly blocked the attack. A thin sword against a large saber. Just in terms of weapons alone, it didn't have the upper hand, nor did it have the upper hand in terms of cultivation. Clang! The great elder swung her sword to block, but she was sent flying back by the saber. The sword in her hand had a nick on it, and under the recoil, the blood in her body churned. The terrifying shockwave caused her to suffer internal injuries. Great Elder. The battle had just begun, but the Great Elder was already injured, causing their morale to plummet. Without the Great Elder, how were they supposed to break through? What a domineering power. The First Elder felt his blood and chi churning, and he almost couldn't stand steadily. He was extremely shocked. If this continued, everything would be over. You dare to attack me with this level of skill? All of you. Capture him alive. Those who resist will be killed. Kong Haoyan sneered and took the lead to rush forward. The other disciples stood in front of the Great Elder, the swords in their hands, trembling uncontrollably. Just this terrifying killing intent was enough to cause them great psychological pressure. How could they fight? Open for me. At this time, Zhu Yue flashed over, took out a pile of things from her storage ring, and threw them forward. A pile of black things shrouded the front, and the next moment, a rumble sound was heard, as if the world was about to collapse. This is sky thunder. The Great Elder and the other disciples were shocked. This Zhu Yue came prepared. She prepared so many sky thunder, it was enough to make them suffer. Let's go. Zhu Yue gritted her teeth and continued to lead them to break through the encirclement. The profound Azure Mansion's disciples who were trying to surround them were blown away by the explosion, and they took this opportunity to escape. Son of a bitch, she even used sky thunder. That bitch, catch her for me. I will let her know what it means to live a life worse than death. Kong Haoyan roared and chased forward. Ning Chuan, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and attack. Ning Chuan, who was guarding on the side, looked at them coldly. He is also a core condensation cultivator. Kong Haoyan, your level has fallen. You can't even suppress this group of bitches. I thought you can do it. It seems that you are still too weak. Ning Chuan coldly snorted. A long sword was released by him. The next moment it turned into a silver light, rolling towards them. The cold, killing intent, like a round of silver moonlight, appeared in front of them in the blink of an eye. He waved his long sword and hooked it towards the Great Elder's neck. Not knowing when, the long sword in his hand has been bent, turned into a scythe. The Great Elder, who has the strongest cultivation, quickly waved her sword to block the scythe. Dang, Poochie! The silver light flashed. The Great Elder's head is still there, but the scythe still left a deep wound on her shoulder. Great Elder! They all exclaimed. The blood on the Great Elder's arm kept flowing. Almost her whole arm was cut off. Phew! The Great Elder's face is pale. The severe pain almost made her faint. Without the strongest combat power, they can't break out of here. Again! Zhu Yue once again took out the sky-piercing thunder and quickly smashed it to the side. Under the violent explosion, the front was smashed again. Go! Zhu Yue took the lead and rushed forward. Now she can only be the vanguard. But after a few steps, a silver light flashed, and a sharp sickle appeared on her neck. The cold air penetrated through the short distance of a few centimeters and seeped into her neck, causing her to shiver. Continue to run? Ning Chuan sneered. Sky-piercing thunder is quite powerful. I want to see how you throw it this time. Immediately after, he gave her a backhand slap, but Zhu Yue quickly blocked it. Her whole body was slapped away, and she even rolled on the ground a few times. Oh, your reaction speed is quite good? Ning Chuan looked at Zhu Yue up and down and smiled. Your body is not bad. Wait for me to catch you. Let me take care of you. Zhu Yue's face is pale. Her storage ring flashed, and a long sword fell into her hand. She didn't hesitate to stab herself. The disciples of Jade Palace also raised the long sword in their hands, ready to commit suicide. Dang! Ning Chuan swept over and knocked their weapons away. You want to commit suicide? No way. Even if you commit suicide, I will strip your clothes and then hang your body on the city gate. Let's see if you dare to commit suicide. Ning Chuan sneered. Their faces are pale. If this is really the case, they won't be able to rest in peace. Despicable, Zhu Yue said with a pale face. Despicable, I like it. At this time, Kong Haoyin came over. I didn't expect Wind Pavilion to participate in this mess. No, it has nothing to do with us. At this time, the elder of Wind Pavilion hurriedly explained. This is her own business. It has nothing to do with us. You can do whatever you want to her. It has nothing to do with us. You said you want to build a good relationship with Jade Palace. Now you are worse than a dog. Zhu Yue said disdainfully. What nonsense are you talking about? This is a lord of Qingxing Mansion. You are an idiot. Letting you be the pavilion master is a wrong choice. The elder said angrily. Let me punish this idiot on behalf of Wind Pavilion. Then he took out a big sword, ready to kill Zhu Yue personally. Wrong choice? I don't think so. An evil voice came out from the forest with a gloomy face. Chapter 151. Yi Tianyun's figure appeared in their line of sight. At this critical moment, he finally rushed back. It should be said that he didn't rush back, but he saw them on the way, so he quickly flew down. You're Yi Tianyun. When the elder of Wind Pavilion saw Yi Tianyun, his heart trembled. What Yi Tianyun? Ning Chuan and the others were confused. They had no idea who Yi Tianyun was. Suddenly, a flame rolled down from the sky. Kong Haoyin felt a sense of danger coming from above his head. He quickly looked up, but it was too late. He was immediately engulfed by the flame. With a scream, he was burned into a pile of ash. Roars! The black dragon descended from the sky, and its huge figure shrouded the area. Its domineering dragon's might swept out in all directions, shocking everyone. How could a black dragon appear? This was a mythological beast. Qingxian Mansion, I didn't expect you to react so quickly. I'd like to see how many people you've sent this time. No matter how many people you send, I'll kill them all. Yi Tianyun sneered. Kill them all. The black dragon roared angrily. Following Yi Tianyun's instructions, he pounced to the side. Terrifying speed, terrifying strength, in one fell swoop, easily killing a group of disciples. Ding successfully killed Qingxian Mansion disciple, gained 1,400 EXP, 150 crazy point, 1 SBS. Ding successfully killed the disciple of Qingxian Mansion, obtained. They all turned into EXP and flowed into Yi Tianyun's body. How can you control a black dragon? Ning Chuan was dumbfounded. This black dragon's power is very terrifying. He can feel that this black dragon's cultivation has reached the late stage of core condensation. Their cultivation level is simply not comparable to it. Their cultivation is not low, but they are only at 4th level core condensation. Compared to the black dragon's cultivation, they are naturally far behind. Everyone else looked at this black dragon in shock. Whatever words they wanted to say were stuck in their throats, and they couldn't even say half a word. You don't need to know this. Yi Tianyun's eyes narrowed, stepped forward, and suddenly flashed in front of Ning Chuan. And with a backhand slap, Ning Chuan didn't even have time to react. He was slapped hard, and several of his teeth fell out. Yi Tianyun helped Zhu Yue up and smiled softly. You've worked hard. Leave the rest to me. By the way, your sister asked me to bring you a jade pendant. Yi Tianyun took out the jade pendant given by Zhu Yuxuan and put it in Zhu Yue's hand. When Zhu Yue saw the jade pendant, her body trembled. Her beautiful eyes were filled with shock. You've seen my sister before? Yes, we could talk about this later. Yi Tianyun turned to look at the elder of Wind Pavilion and said in a deep voice, Do you want to kill him? The elder of Wind Pavilion collapsed to the ground. His face was pale. When he saw Yi Tianyun came back with a black dragon, he didn't even have the courage to run away. Pavilion Master Z, I also have my own difficulties. That elder hurriedly explained. Zhu Yue's eyes were gloomy. Before this elder wanted to kill her personally. If it wasn't for Yi Tianyun's return, she might have been killed by him. Even if you have a lot of difficulties, you still want to kill me personally. This is a good reason. When I am useful, everyone tries to please me, but when I am useless, they just abandon me. I hate this kind of person the most. Young Master Yi, help me catch him. Zhu Yue said coldly. I'm happy to help. Yi Tianyun smiled faintly. The next moment, his figure swept past the elder. His speed was so fast that no one could see his figure. The next moment, he appeared in front of the elder, turned around, and kicked him. Bang! The elder was kicked flying and vomited blood. I'll leave him to you. You can do whatever you want, Tianyun said indifferently. Zhu Yue took out her long sword and looked at the elder coldly. I've been tolerating you for a long time. Finally, I can kill you with my own hands. Z, Pavilion Master Z. No, don't do this. You forget, we are so good to you. When you were helpless, we took you in. The elder kept trying to persuade her. He wanted to run away, but he couldn't do it. Really, you took me in, but you kept trying to squeeze my value. At first, you even wanted to marry me to Wing Sec Sovereign. You are a group of scum. You only think about yourselves. If there's any value in it, they will immediately abandon it. Young Master E is the best example. When there's value in it, everyone will say that they will protect him, but once there's any danger, they will immediately abandon him. What a bunch of trash. After that, she waved the long sword in her hand and stabbed the elder fiercely. Because the elder couldn't move, he was pierced by the long sword. You? The elder's eyes widened as he collapsed to the ground, no longer breathing. After she personally killed him, she closed her eyes gently. She felt that everything was free. She was completely free from Wind Pavilion. Whoever dares to move will be the first to die, Tianyun suddenly shouted and looked up with a cold gaze. The black dragon at the side let out a roar that resounded through the clouds. Many disciples who wanted to escape trembled and lost the courage to escape. When Tianyun passed by Zhu Yue, he reached out and patted her shoulder gently, then continued to walk forward and came in front of Ning Chuan. What news did you receive this time that you chose to come here? Tianyun said indifferently. Don't even think about getting any information from me. The next moment, Tianyun threw a flame, covering Ning Chuan. In a blink of an eye, Ning Chuan was burnt to a crisp. Ding, successfully killed Ning Chuan, gained 120. 000 EXP, 2,300 crazy points. High-grade Spirit Tool Netherworld Hook, gained 20 sin points. Don't worry, I never intended to get any information from you. And the sin points are 20. This is really ruthless. You must have done a lot of evil in your life. Tianyun's eyes are cold, and immediately dragged a disciple and said, What about you? Are you willing to tell me the general situation? We don't know what happened. The flames suddenly covered him, and then he was thrown aside by Tianyun, and then continued to grab another disciple. What about you? Tianyun looked indifferent, but no one doubts that he won't do it. We saw Elder Wei, and the others didn't come back for so long. Something must have happened. Then there happened to be disciples in the Earth border continent, so we came to investigate, and found that Jade Palace is gone. The elders guessed that something bad must have happened, so they immediately sent people here. This disciple is very afraid of death. No one wants to die, so he said it out loud. How many people did they send this time? Tianyun said. Basically all the elders are dispatched. The disciple hurriedly said, afraid that Tianyun will kill him. All the elders are dispatched, including the mansion lord? Tianyun said solemnly. This should be the case. The disciple said, Where did they go? Tianyun asked. They went straight to the heavens immersing ancient ruins. Someone saw the disciples of Jade Palace going that way. Qingxian Mansion disciple hurriedly explained. Chapter 152. Roughly, Tianyun already knows the ins and outs of the situation. He knows why they are moving so fast. It turns out that there are disciples nearby. In that case, there is no other way. For these reasons, in just a short period of 1 month, they have already killed their way to heaven's immersing ancient ruins. This means that they have begun to destroy heaven's immersing ancient ruins. Otherwise, how can they swallow this humiliation? Very well, I'm very satisfied with your answer. You can go. Tianyun threw him to the side, indicating that he can leave. After the disciple was put down, he trembled and walked a few steps forward, then looked back and hurriedly fled. The other companions nodded and quickly retreated as well. Just after a few steps, the black dragon stepped on them and spewed out a hot flame, burning them to ashes. Screams continued to come, and then there is no breath. The disciple who just wanted to leave saw his companion was burned to ashes. His eyes showed fear. It's okay, you can go, but they can't. Etion's expression is indifferent, and immediately said to the other disciples of Jade Palace, "Everyone, if you want to kill him, then do it, otherwise he will slip away." At this time, they quickly caught up with him. Etion promised not to kill him, but it doesn't mean they can't kill him. You broke your promise." The disciple screamed, but he was still killed by the disciples of Jade Palace. After killing this disciple, their pretty face became red, not because of excitement, but more because of hatred. It's not that they are ruthless, but these people are too cruel. Every move they make is to kill. Their eyes are full of filth. Needless to say, after being captured, they know what they will do to them. Keeping promises is for people, not beasts. Etion's eyes are cold. Immediately came in front of Great Elder, took out a pill and put it in her mouth. Let her recover quickly. "Great Elder, thank you for your hard work," Etion said in a low voice. "Where are the palace mistress and the others?" "You're finally back. Palace master and the others are fine. They're all in the heavens, immersing ancient ruins. We've been out for a few days now. I believe it's as the disciples said, we've been surrounded. If this continues, I'm afraid the heavens immersing ancient ruins won't be able to hold on any longer." The Great Elder coughed a few times. His face slightly regained some color. Don't worry, leave that side to me. As long as there is no core transformation stage cultivator, I can suppress them." Etion's eyes were filled with coldness. With the 8 times crazy mode, it was enough for him to go crazy. Is this really possible? The Great Elder's eyes were filled with surprise. As long as the opponent wasn't a core transformation stage cultivator, he would be able to suppress them. No problem. Etion smiled and came to Zhu Yue. "Your sister asked me to tell you not to go back. It's the Zhu family that let you down." In an instant, Zhu Yue's tears gushed out. She grabbed Etion's arm and said with a trembling voice, "Sister really said that?" "Yes. She also said that she was the one who helped you escape?" Etion asked. "Yes, it was Sister who asked me to escape. I didn't want to leave at that time. I wanted to be like Sister, willing to sacrifice myself for the Star Pavilion. Sister also lied to me, saying that in the future, there will be no problem. I don't have to suffer. But now, she told me not to go back." Her tears were getting more and more. Her voice became sobbing. Etion was startled after listening to this. So this is the truth. He thought that Zhu Yue was so bold, but it turns out that she was already prepared to sacrifice herself to strengthen the Zhu family. In fact, Zhu Yuxuan told her to escape, lying to her that things will get better in the future. Otherwise, Zhu Yue really wouldn't have escaped. "It's okay. After everything is done, we'll go back together to see the situation," Etion said indifferently. "They originally wanted to marry you to Qing Xian Mansion. If I destroy Qing Xian Mansion, let's see who else will dare to make trouble for." In his heart, he has already regarded Zhu Yue as one of his own. The desperate action just now has gained his trust. Zhu Yue herself is a very principled person. As long as someone helped her, she will go through fire and water. She will help them. Zhu Yue nodded. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a glimmer of hope. "Sister is working too hard. She has to bear everything. I can see that. She really worked hard for you." Etion sighed deeply. He misunderstood at that time, but now it seems that the misunderstanding is really deep. After a few simple words, Etion said, "You guys find a place to hide. I'll go to the heavens immersing ancient ruins. Leave the rest to me." They know that they can't help Etion. They will only be a burden, so they can only find a place to hide. "Then be careful. You must put your own safety first. I believe that even if Jade Palace perishes this time, but with your existence, it will definitely rise again." Great Elder's eyes flashed. She believes that Etion can lead Jade Palace to glory. It's not just her. Even all the disciples of Jade Palace think so. They feel that Etion can lead them to glory, so they will never surrender never give up. Jade Palace will not perish. Not this time. Not in the future. Etienne smiled indifferently, sat on the black dragon, and flew away. They looked at the figure disappearing into the sky, and their hearts are full of hope. After a while, Etienne's cultivation has been greatly enhanced, and he also has a black dragon. Under his leadership, how can Jade Palace become weak? Young Master E, be careful. Zhu Yue looked at his back, tightly holding the jade pendant in her hand. She didn't expect Etienne to see her sister. After Etienne left, he quickly began to fly to the heavens, immersing ancient ruins, which is not far from here. And with the speed of the black dragon, he will arrive soon. When he was ready to approach, he quickly fell from the air and disappeared into the forest. He is not in a hurry to kill them immediately. He secretly observed the situation from behind, and then choose a sneak attack. Everything must be done cautiously. After all, the other party is coming out in full force. It is obviously not rational to kill them alone. First, he needs to see the situation clearly and then make a plan. Moreover, a surprise attack was a great bargaining chip. Hence, as soon as he landed, he immediately activated his stealth skill. His figure blended into the forest, and his eyes shone with a bright light. Chapter 153. Etienne quickly approached the gate of heavens, immersing ancient ruins. As he gets closer, he can feel the powerful aura in front of him. Boom! A loud noise came. It seems that a terrifying power suddenly burst out. The sound is deafening. The ground is slightly shaking. It is enough to show that the power is quite amazing. Etienne frowned. He quickened his pace to get closer. The closer he gets, the more he feels the terrifying power. It seems that in order to break into heaven's immersing ancient ruins, they use some special method. When he got closer, he immediately saw a group of people at the gate of heaven's immersing ancient ruins, and the number is not small. So many spirit core realm experts. Etienne frowned when he saw the situation in front of him. 8 spirit core realm experts stood in front of the gate of heaven's immersing ancient ruins, once again gathering terrifying energy, ready to bombard the stone gate. Their cultivation ranged from 2nd level spirit core realm to 8th level spirit core realm. The strongest among them must be the Mansion Lord of Qing Xian Mansion. The Mansion Lord of Qing Xian Mansion came in person. This treatment is really good. Obviously, he is completely enraged. Behind him are core condensation realm experts. The number is as high as 30. The lowest level is spirit refinement realm cultivators. The number is as high as 100. More than a dozen spirit core realm experts, more than 30 core condensation realm experts, and hundreds of spirit refinement realm cultivators. This is a number that no sect in the Earth border continent can reach. This is the power of Qing Xian Mansion. The most important thing is that for Jade Palace, they actually sent out all of their forces. Isn't this a bit too much? This is equivalent to killing a chicken with a butcher's knife. It is too much. It seems that this gate can't hold for long. Etienne saw that the gate is in a terrible state, but the gate is still strong. He doesn't know how long this stone gate can withstand the bombardment of so many spirit core realm experts. The mark engraved on it is still clearly visible, faintly glowing with a faint golden light, strong enough to withstand so many terrifying bombardment. He can't help but admire the strength of Spirit King Xiantian's formation. But no matter how strong it was, it couldn't withstand a prolonged bombardment. With so many Spirit Core stage powerhouses taking turns, after the Spirit Core stage powerhouses finish, it will be the Core Condensation stage powerhouses' turn. They don't believe that with this kind of attack, they won't be able to break the door. Prepare for the next round of attacks. A middle-aged man said coldly. He was the mansion master of Qing Xian Mansion, Qing Tianxian, and he had the highest cultivation among them. I don't believe that this door can last long. Qing Tianxian sneered. You killed our elder and hid in the heavens, immersing ancient ruins. Do you think we can't do anything to you? He could use this opportunity to deal a heavy blow to the forces of the Earth boundary continent. Originally, I didn't dare to come here because of the rules. Now, you've given me a very good excuse. There was a set of rules in the heavenly boundary continent, and that was that no one could invade the earthly boundary continent at will. After all, the gap between the two continents was too big, so they couldn't invade at will. This could easily lead to a great calamity, which was something they did not wish to see. But they can send people over and let one or two forces become their puppets, which can also play a role in ruling. This rule is actually a decoration. A little excuse can be broken. Now this is the case, saying that Jade Palace challenged the majesty of Qing Xian Mansion, killed their elder, and used this as an excuse to kill them, and used this opportunity to deal a heavy blow to the surrounding forces. The forces of the heavenly boundary continent knew what Qing Xian Mansion was thinking, but they didn't say anything. As long as it has nothing to do with them, they don't care. The death of an elder is very distressing, but compared to finding an excuse to invade their territory at will, this elder's death is worth it. Rumble! At this time, the stone door slowly opened. Qing Tianxian raised his hand, motioning them not to attack, squinted at the stone door that was slowly opened. His eyes were like a poisonous snake, entangled in front of the door. The stone door just opened a gap, and a few figures came out from inside. Ants! Tianyan trembled slightly when he saw the person who came out first. Shi Shuyan came out with a long sword in her hand. Her original white clothes were already stained with blood, and her face was pale and terrible. It was obvious that she had experienced a great battle, and she suffered a lot of injuries. Seeing Shi Shuyan coming out of the stone door, her pale face made his heart tremble. He didn't expect that after a few days, the former glorious Shi Shuyan became like this. From the fluctuations of her aura, Tianyan clearly felt that her aura is very weak. She must have suffered a lot of injuries. This made him very angry, and he can't wait to kill these bastards. You've been hiding in there for a long time, finally willing to come out? I thought you would never come out. Qing Tianxian said solemnly, Palace Lord Shi, you killed our elder. I can let it go, but you have to hand over the murderer to me. Plus you marry me. Then I can let the matter of Jade Palace go. I can let it go. Of course, Jade Palace must become our subsidiary sect of Qing Xian Mansion. Until now, he is still obsessed with letting Shi Shuyan marry him. His eyes looking at Shi Shuyan are filled with a bit of possessiveness. As long as it's a genius female cultivator, he wants to possess her. That kind of desire to conquer is something he enjoys very much. Shi Shuyan was silent. After glancing at everyone, she said, I will go with you. You let Jade Palace go. I said, you also need to hand over the murderer, so that we can meet the conditions. Qing Tianxian said coldly, now is not the time to negotiate with me. Do you think you can rely on this broken ancient ruins to resist our attack? In a few days, this door will be broken by us, and then you will be at our mercy. At that time, it won't be as simple as becoming a subsidiary sect. You have to think about it clearly. They have an absolute advantage. Talking about conditions is the behavior of a fool. Only when the strength is similar, there will be conditions to negotiate. Once the balance is broken, all conditions and rules are bullshit. If that's the case, then die. Shi Shuyan's beautiful eyes flashed with a cold light, suddenly holding a sword in front of her. Her momentum suddenly skyrocketed. The cultivation of spirit core broke out. Wherever she went, cold air spread, freezing a large area. Stay here and don't move. Before leaving, Shi Shuyan said, Palace Lord, don't go. They are too strong. Changyin shouted anxiously. There are so many strong cultivators in front of her. If Shi Shuyan chased after them, she will be surrounded. At that time it will be really difficult to escape. But Shi Shuyan's white clothes fluttered. She turned a deaf ear and rushed forward. Her face is extremely cold. The temperature around her dropped a lot because of the cold air she released. Chapter 154. Qing Tianxian smiled when he saw Shi Shuyan rushing out. He was afraid that Shi Shuyan would not come out. What an idiot. I didn't expect you to come out. Catch her. Remember, don't kill her. Qing Tianxian sneered. The spirit core stage cultivators in front of them were already prepared. They rushed forward and surrounded Shi Shuyan. Terrifying spiritual energy erupted from their bodies, forming into a net of light that enveloped the area they were in. This is a trap. The palace lord is in danger. The second elder was anxious and wanted to help. But he was stopped by the third elder. "Don't go out. The palace lord just told us to stay here." The third elder was also anxious, but he chose to believe in Shi Shuyan. The other old ancestors were standing behind them, watching the situation. They were ready to burst out their strongest power. In fact, no matter how much they burst out their power, it would be meaningless. They have made some progress in this period of time, but it was still limited. In the face of so many spirit core stage cultivators, they couldn't attack at all. She's going to unleash her latent power and go all out. The old ancestor beside him said in a low voice, "If she does this, her lifespan will be shortened, but there is no other way. As long as we can stall for time, the heavens immersing ancient ruins can recover." Yes, she forcibly increased her cultivation, which is already reducing her blood chi. Otherwise, she would not be able to compete with them. Shi Shuyan was not a fool. She took the risk to come out to let the heavens immersing ancient ruins have a chance to recover. If she kept being attacked like crazy, she would not be able to withstand it. So she could only come out and continue to attack to buy more time. "Do you think you can escape this time? Catch her." Qing Tianxuan's eyes were cold, and his face was twisted. "Get out of here." Shi Shuyan's face was flushed. She spat out a mouthful of blood, which dyed the entire blade red. The blood splashed back and left some plum blossoms on her white clothes. After spitting out this mouthful of blood, her aura instantly surged. She also took out the Isoul Jade and completely fused with it. All of a sudden, her strength skyrocketed, and her cultivation was forcibly raised to level 2 of the Spirit Core stage. The cold attribute in the air suddenly gathered, and under her brandishing, the long sword in her hand seemed to be assimilated into a huge ice sword, and she waved it crazily. Under this crazy continuous slash, the net of light that surrounded them was actually forcibly cut apart. It even forced a few elders to retreat. Some of them were frozen after coming into contact with this attack. This destructive energy caused Qing Tianxian to frown. He did not expect Shi Shuyan to have such potential. The sudden eruption of power was so shocking. It was completely raised by several levels. But there is a price to pay. In order to use a more powerful killer move, she must consume the blood essence in her body. If she consumes too much, her cultivation will decline, and if it's serious, she will die. However, she did it without any hesitation. Apart from killing intent, there was no fear in her eyes. For the entire Jade Palace, she must do this, but there is no despair in her eyes, still full of hope, as if looking forward to something. In order to save Jade Palace, she forcibly raised her cultivation, which is a kind of taboo method. This is only a temporary improvement, but after that it will lead to the side effect of the decline of cultivation. But no matter what the side effect is, she must use it, otherwise she will die. At this time, the elder who was sent flying cursed in his heart. This woman is too powerful. Her cultivation is lower than them, but she can suppress them. This scene shocked everyone. Shi Shuyan's genius title is not just for show. The power brought by the limit is amazing. The power is terrifying, but Shi Shuyan has also reached the limit. Her body has reached the limit, and now she forcibly used it. The consumption is even more amazing. Her face is as pale as paper. There is no trace of blood, and from the feeling of breath, it feels like the lamp is dried up, and it will go out at any time. "Palace Lord, retreat!" At this time, the elders rushed out, trying to cover her escape. Shi Shuyan gritted her teeth and flew back, but found that her body seems to be stuck in a swamp. She felt difficult to move. When she looked down, she found that she was already tied up by the net of light, and she was firmly stuck to it. "Break!" She waved the long sword in her hand, aimed at the light net, but she has no follow-up power, and slashed down heavily, but there is no effect. The net of light trapping her had completely trapped her. I said, "It is impossible to escape this time." Qing Tianxian sneered. He raised his leg and moved closer. His speed was neither fast nor slow, but he gave off a strong sense of oppression. What is this situation?" Suddenly someone screamed, attracting the attention of many people. They turned their heads to look, but all of them were shocked. Qing Tianxian turned his head back in dissatisfaction and said, What the hell are you screaming for? When he turned his head back to look, he was also shocked. The cultivators they brought unexpectedly fell down in large numbers, one by one. No one knows what happened. What the hell is going on? How can so many disciples die? Qing Tianxian was shocked. Many of the spirit refinement disciples and even the core condensation cultivators have fallen. Everything is silent. Many people do not know what happened. While they were distracted, a figure suddenly flashed past and silently arrived in front of Qing Tianxian. Then, a saber fiercely pierced over. A strong sense of crisis from the heart of Qing Tianxian, a backhand to resist, but everything seems to be a bit too slow. The ferocious dagger pierced through his palm, as if piercing a layer of paper, easily pierced his palm. When the dagger was about to pierce through, suddenly a dazzling light burst out from his chest, instantly forming a thick shield, bouncing the person who sneak attacked him. Bang! When the figure was bounced back, it turned in the air and rushed to the side of the spirit core stage cultivator. In the blink of an eye, the dagger in his hand was replaced by a long sword, fiercely slashed down. Boom! The whole person was easily split into two. The person did not even have the chance to scream. He was already dead, blood spurting out. When it completely fell, it has already stopped beside Shi Shuiyin, waved the sword, and cut the light net that tied her up. And I came back late. A familiar figure, a familiar voice, reflected in Shi Shuiyun's eyes. Chapter 155. Ding, successfully killed Qing Xian Mansion Elder, gained 580,000. 000 EXP, 11,000 Crazy Point, gain Martial Art Netherworld Step, Transforming Heaven Palm. Obtain Snake Slaying Sword, Quintuple EXP card. Ding, congratulations to player E. Tianyun for successfully breaking through to 5th level Spirit Core Realm. While everyone's attention was focused on Shi Shuiyun, E. Tianyun sneak attacked from behind. Using Stealth and Scarlet Dagger, E. Tianyun easily harvested everyone's life. Coupled with the 8 times EXP card and 20 times EXP card, E. Tianyun's EXP is increasing crazily. He even used 3 times Crazy Point card, so he can get 11,000 Crazy Point at once. He wanted to save Shi Shuiyun before, but he knew that it's not the right time yet. The only thing he can do now is to eliminate all the disciples behind him, which will undoubtedly be a lot safer. But he was still discovered. If he wasn't discovered, at least all the core condensation cultivators would have been killed by him. But now it's already terrifying. More than 30 core condensation cultivators were easily harvested by him like cabbages. From more than 30 core condensation cultivators to more than a dozen. How can this be described as miserable? Now he even killed a spirit core realm cultivator, which is even more terrifying. You, who are you? Qing Tianxian and the others were shocked. How can a super strong cultivator suddenly appear out of nowhere, and the aura he exudes is not any weaker than them? If Qing Tianxian didn't have a top-grade magic weapon to protect himself, he would have been assassinated. Who am I? Am I not the one you mentioned that needs to be handed over? Yi Tianyun said as he stepped back, put Shi Shuiyun down, and signaled her to go back to the heavens, immersing ancient ruins. It's the safest place. You are the strong cultivator who killed Elder Wei. They were shocked. The young man in front of them is only about 17 or 18 years old, but he is already a spirit core realm cultivator. They suspected that he is an old monster. Yes, it's me. Yi Tianyun sneered. Your Qing Xian mansion is extremely overbearing. Do you think that the entire continent belongs to you? Want to control our Jade Palace, but also want to occupy all of our disciples. This calculation is really loud. You want to control our Jade Palace and occupy all our disciples. This plan is really big. Yi Tianyun's return shocked everyone in Jade Palace. This terrifying aura let them know that Yi Tianyun's cultivation has skyrocketed again. Elder Yi is too powerful. Every time he goes out, his cultivation level increases by a lot. He seems to be at the Spirit Core stage. Elder Yi is late core condensation late stage. He was just a late stage core late stage. Saint stage, Sect Xian realm, and Spirit Tian sect. Sect Tian realm stages is stage. Emperor Yi, and they eat heart. Not to mention them, Even the old ancestors are shocked. Sure, Shuiyun's breakthrough to Spirit Core Realm is temporary, but Tianyin really broke through to Spirit Core Realm, a cultivation that they can't touch. Impossible. You are so young. Which force do you belong to? Qing Tianxian is shocked and angry. So many of his disciples died, his heart is bleeding, it's really painful. Even if he wins this time, it will take a long time to recover. I'm the elder of Jade Palace. I belong to Jade Palace. Tianyun said coldly. Today is the day you die. Don't even think about escaping. In the next moment, he waved his hand, and the black dragon descended from the sky and heavily pressed down on the remaining core condensation powerhouses. With a loud bang, many core condensation powerhouses were directly trampled to death or seriously injured by the huge body of the black dragon. Roar! The black dragon roared to the sky, releasing the dragon's might to the surrounding, shocking everyone. This is Black Dragon, Divine Beast. Qing Tianxian was shocked again. Sure, Shuiyun and the others are also shocked. Before it was Snow Wolf, now there is a black dragon. How did he get it? At this time, Snow Wolf ran out of the palace. At this time, it is already bruised. It seems to be seriously injured. If it continues to be like this, it will die. Woo-woo! When Snow Wolf saw Tianyun, it limped over and finally lay in his arms. Snow Wolf? Tianyun's pupil shrank. He didn't expect his pet to be so seriously injured. He quickly gave it a pill and rubbed its head. You worked hard. Take a good rest. When things are over, I will reward you. Woo-woo! Snow Wolf nodded and squinted its eyes. It is seriously injured. If it wasn't for this Snow Wolf, we would have been captured. It blocked a lot of attacks for me. Because of it, we were able to protect the heavens, immersing ancient ruins from falling. Sure, Shuiyun felt guilty. She reached out and touched its head. If it wasn't for the improvement in its cultivation, it really couldn't withstand so many attacks from Spirit Core cultivators. After all, even if it doesn't get close to Tianyun, it can still gain experience. Now it is at level 2 of Spirit Core stage. It is quite amazing. Although its cultivation is good, it is still not as strong as Qingxian Mansion. Plus it needs to protect Sure Shuiyun, so it can't attack with full force. Well, it is time to end this. Tianyun is holding the Sword of Endlessness in his hand. It is shining with a strange light. This is a weapon he has never used before. Because it is too overbearing, there is no need to use it to deal with weak opponents. But to deal with them, he is not stingy. He walked out step by step, step by step. The Black Dragon is constantly destroying the ruins, attracting several Spirit Core cultivators to encircle it. The Black Dragon's cultivation is not as strong as them, but its skin is too thick. When it was attacked, it is only a little bit injured, but it can still hold on for a while. 5 times EXP card use. Crazy 8 times damage mode. Activate. His aura suddenly exploded, and his combat power increased crazily. He didn't use crazy damage mode before, because he wanted to hide his aura. Otherwise, Qing Tianxian wouldn't have been able to block that sword earlier. 200,000, 300,000, 600,000, 800,000, 900,000, 415,000. In the end, his combat power stopped at 2,450,000. Under the effect of 8 times damage mode, his combat power suddenly increased to 2,450,000, far surpassing Qing Tianxian. Qing Tianxuan's combat power is also not low. Under the appraisal eye, there is no place to hide, 670,000. Indeed worthy of being a palace lord, combined with other treasures. His battle prowess is as high as 670,000. If his cultivation was still at core condensation stage, even if he burst out with 8x crazy mode, he still wouldn't be able to surpass Qing Tianxian. The higher the cultivation, the stronger the increase in combat power. For example, in his view, there is a difference of 20,000 to 30,000 between a 3rd level Spirit Core cultivator and a 4th level Spirit Core cultivator. But in the 4th level Spirit Core cultivator and the 5th level Spirit Core cultivator, the difference is 40,000 to 50,000. The higher the cultivation, the stronger the combat power, so it is not surprising that Qing Tianxuan's combat power is so strong. If he does not use crazy mode, The difference of 3 levels between the two of them is a full 100,000 to 200,000 combat power. However, by relying on the 8x crazy mode, he was already far more powerful than him. Chapter 156. This is the first time Etianyan has 245 million combat power, and he was shocked by it. This was the effect of multiplying by 8 times. His original battle power of more than 300,000 had increased by 8 times due to anger. With his battle power multiplied by 8 times, his battle power directly exploded to 245 million, directly crushing the opponent's battle power by 4 times. The simplest and most crude data comparison was so terrifying, completely crushing the mansion lord of the Qing Xian Mansion. The strongest cultivator of the Qing Xian Mansion was crushed by him. Who could stop him? If he hadn't upgraded crazy mode at that time, he could have easily defeated the mansion lord of the Qing Xian Mansion with 4 times crazy mode. It was almost the same as he had expected. His cultivation had reached 4th level of Spirit Core stage. With the help of crazy mode, as long as the opponent was not a core transformation stage cultivator, he could basically defeat them. Now that he had 8 times crazy mode, he could kill anyone who came. If he continued to upgrade crazy mode, he could reach 16 times damage. That would be really heaven-defying. He couldn't imagine what kind of power he would have when he used crazy mode. At least for now, he felt like he had mastered all the power in the world, and no one could resist his attack. Qing Xian Mansion, since you are so domineering, then I will be more domineering than you. Today, I will kill all of you, and next time, I will personally destroy your Qing Xian Mansion. Etianyan held the Endlessness Sword and walked forward step by step. His terrifying aura made the other Spirit Core stage cultivators tremble. They had never seen such a powerful aura. It was far beyond their imagination. This is the cultivation of Spirit Core stage. No, this is the aura of Core Transformation stage. This is so young, but he is already a Core Transformation stage cultivator. Where did this monster come from? What should we do now? Run! They were trembling. If it wasn't for the mansion lord, they would have already run away. Qing Tianyun's face was gloomy. He didn't expect to meet such a strong cultivator. He didn't even need to fight to feel the difference in strength. This kind of difference could only be felt when facing a core transformation stage cultivator. Go! The next moment, Qing Tianxian turned around and fled without hesitation. His speed was faster than anyone else's. But while he was running, Etianyan had already turned into a streak of light that streaked across the sky and caught up to one of the elders. Without any hesitation, Etianyan brandished the Sword of Infinity in his hand and slashed at him. Damn it! The elder roared in anger. He didn't want to be hit by this sword. He turned around and swung his sword to block Etianyan's attack. Clang! The moment the two swords collided, the Sword of Infinity flickered with a bright light. The burst of light instantly intensified. Double damage mode activated. Boom! Originally, the damage dealt was already terrifying enough. Suddenly triggering this damage mode, it instantly exploded. That elder was directly blown away by this terrifying force, his body exploding in midair. He didn't even touch the person, he just touched the weapon. However, the contact between the weapons caused the power to explode instantly. The violent energy fluctuations were enough to kill the other party. Ding! Successfully killed Qing Xian Mansion Elder. Reward: 680,000 EXP, 12,000 Crazy Point, 30 SBS. Obtain Martial Art Netherworld Step, Heavenly Star Fist. The weapons obtained are Flaming Blade and Gale Shoes. On the original basis, Etianyan added 5 times EXP card, suddenly stacked up to 32 times EXP. Killing a strong cultivator can earn up to 680,000 EXP, which made Etianyan shocked. If he can earn this much in the future, it will be perfect. Killing a Spirit Core stage powerhouse with 1 slash was as easy as chopping melons and vegetables, and there was no resistance at all. Etianyan continued to chase crazily. The elders were scared and ran away faster than before. Although they knew that Etianyan is very powerful, but when they fight, they found that he is even more terrifying. Whether they block or not, They will die. Want to run? Since you are here, don't even think about leaving. Tianyin sneered and stepped on the ground. Boom! The violent force created a huge pit on the ground, accompanied by a terrifying force. In the next moment, he already caught up with another elder and stabbed him with Sword of Infinity. The elder roared, and the armor on the surface of his body burst in a dazzling light, forming a thick shield. However, all of this was a futile struggle. With a PUCI, the Infinite Sword did not even activate its damage multiplier mode. It easily pierced through the armor and stabbed his entire body. Die! Etienne dragged the elder back. The elder screamed and fell to the ground. Blood flowed out of his body. Ding! Successfully killed Qing Xian Mansion Elder. Reward, 700,000 EXP, 13,000 Crazy Point, 35 SBS. He had easily killed an elder just like that. This was the difference in strength. No matter how the elder tries to resist, it's futile. The increase in cultivation brings about terrifying power. It's not just a legend that a single person can slaughter an entire city. For someone as strong as Core Transformation Realm, it's not a problem for them to slaughter an entire city. The Black Dragon is also not willing to admit defeat, crazily trampling on the Core Condensation Cultivators. All of them were killed by the Black Dragon. There are only a few elders and the Mansion Lord left in Qing Xian Mansion. Even if they can go back alive this time, Qing Xian Mansion is basically finished. It will take a lot of time to rebuild, and just looking at the strength of the elders, they can't even reach the level of the Mansion Lord. But will Tianyin let them go back? He won't do something like letting a tiger return to the mountain. Too scary. Several elders screamed. They have never seen such a terrifying expert before. In the past, it's always them chasing others, but now it's someone else chasing them. It can be said that every dog has its day. It's their turn now. I said, don't even think about leaving. Tianyin once again chased after them. They can't escape Tianyin's pursuit. Even if they scattered to escape, it's useless. His speed is too much faster than them. In the blink of an eye, he caught up with an elder, and then with a single slash, he killed one of them. Accompanied by a blood-curdling scream, another elder fell to the ground. Bastard! Qing Tianxin roared, but he doesn't dare to stop. His eyes are filled with endless killing intent and hatred. So many of his elders died here. How can he be reconciled? There are 3 more. Tianyun's eyes flashed in front of him. There are only 2 elders and Qing Tianxian left. After killing them, everything will be over. When he was ready to catch up, suddenly, a red cloud floated in the sky in front of him. A soaring evil chi came from afar, suddenly giving him a strong sense of oppression. Old Ancestor is here. Old Ancestor is here. Qing Tianxian shouted happily. Their old ancestor finally came to help. Old Ancestor! Tianyun was startled, feeling the terrible evil chi. There is also a bloody smell. Enough to see that the strong person who came must be a heaven-defying expert. He is afraid that his cultivation has reached the level of core transformation, so the pressure is too great. Chapter 157. Billowing evil chi came from a distance, instantly covering the entire area. Terrifying pressure from the sky. Even Shi Shuiyun and the others felt a bit of pressure. This power, is it core transformation realm? Shi Shuiyun stood up with difficulty. She didn't rest for long. She almost crawled up. Her beautiful eyes showed deep worry. It's core transformation realm powerhouse. Only core transformation realm powerhouse can have such power. Jade Palace's old ancestor solemnly said. It's the old ancestor of Qing Xian Mansion. His cultivation is certainly not low. Rumor has it that Qing Xian Mansion has several core transformation realm powerhouses. After a moment, a crystal coffin flew from the air, and then fiercely fell from the air. Like a meteorite, it fell on the ground. Boom! The ground was smashed by the hard crystal coffin. A deep pit was formed. Thick evil chi floated out of the crystal coffin and floated to the surrounding corpses, then seeped into these corpses. After a moment, the blood essence of these corpses was extracted and drilled into the crystal coffin. Welcome, evil blood, old ancestor. Qing Tianxian took the lead to kneel down, bowed his head respectfully, His eyes showed ecstasy. Old ancestor came to help. It means they are saved. Welcome my ass. In the next moment, Etienne's infinite sword shined with a terrifying light, and the sword slashed down heavily. Etienne didn't wait for the person inside the crystal coffin to come out, and Etienne already attacked. Don't be presumptuous. Crack. Immediately, the crystal coffin was quickly pushed open. An old man came out of the crystal coffin. His body was shriveled. No one knows how long he has been sealed inside the crystal coffin. The thick blood chi around him continued to pour into his body, began to replenish his blood chi. After coming out, he quickly raised his palm. A bloody light turned into a huge palm. In this huge palm, there are white bones, like the palm of a devil from hell, grasped towards them. He clearly looked like an old man with one foot in the grave, but he was able to erupt with such a shocking power that was not inferior to a young person at all. However, when this terrifying attack came into contact with Etienne's attack, it instantly melted away, like melting snow. There was no resistance at all. The entire skeletal arm was instantly disintegrated, cleaved apart by the sword of infinity. This power, Blood Ancestor Fiend Blood's withered eyes emitted a bloody light. He roared and slammed the crystal coffin beside him, sending it flying toward Etienne. Break! Etienne aimed at the incoming crystal coffin and slashed down. With a loud bang, the crystal coffin was cut into 4 pieces. The pieces scattered to the side and finally fell to the ground. The sturdy crystal coffin became extremely fragile under his tyrannical attack. However, under these 2 impacts, the power he released paused for a moment, and he fell from the sky. His eyes searched Patriarch Fiend Blood's body, revealing all of his information. Patriarch Fiend Blood, 2nd level of core transformation stage, middle grade soul tool armor, combat power 1. 3 million. Martial arts, blood demon palm, blood fiend divine art, etc. Weakness, water attribute attack, can weaken opponent's attack. Killing can obtain blood demon palm, blood fiend divine art, etc. 1. 3 million combat power. As expected of a core transformation stage, his combat power has reached such an amazing level, but compared to Etienne's 45 million combat power, this is really nothing. Crazy mode is crazy mode. With 8 times combat power, he can easily crush Patriarch Fiend Blood. But Etienne knows that if he continues to push back, even if he uses crazy mode in the future, he won't be able to cross too many levels. For example, Qing Tianquan's cultivation is 8th level of Spirit Core stage, which is 5 levels lower than Patriarch Fiend Blood's cultivation, but their combat power is more than 600,000. This is basically equivalent to more than 100,000 combat power, which is quite a terrifying base. The key point is that Etienne also sensed that Patriarch Fiend Blood hasn't used his full strength yet. At such a young age, his cultivation has reached such a level. No wonder Tian Xian asked me to help. It seems that we are all old. Patriarch Fiend Blood's dry eyes flashed with a bloody light, and the surrounding blood chi was constantly sucked into his body. At this time, Etienne's appraisal eyes data slightly changed 33 million combat power. This Patriarch Fiend Blood is worthy of being an ancestor. Just by absorbing other people's blood chi, he can improve his strength. But it seems that Patriarch Fiend Blood's life is almost up. He can only rely on absorbing other people's blood chi to maintain his life. But even if he continues like this, he can't maintain it for too long. Currently, there were only 2 ways to extend one's lifespan. The first was to take the life fruit, which could increase one's lifespan by a certain amount. However, the effect would be negligible if one ate too many of them. The second was to make a breakthrough in cultivation. It was the simplest and most effective method, but it was also the most difficult. This Patriarch Fiend Blood obviously can't break through, so he began to rely on his own martial arts to devour other people's blood. It seems that he has devoured a lot. But there will always be an end, unless there is a new life fruit. Otherwise, he really can't continue to live. The best way is to seal in the crystal coffin, wait for the life fruit to be found in the future, or find a solution. Then he will choose to wake up from his slumber. No, I think you, the older generation, should discipline the younger generation. what should be done and what shouldn't be done. Yun said coldly. Relying on your little power to invade other people's forces at will, in the end, you will bring disaster to yourself. How we discipline. It's not up to you to teach us. Blood Fiend Blood Ancestor sneered. It seems that if we don't use some real skills, you all think that this is the era of the younger generation. As long as we don't die, don't think that this is your era. As soon as his voice fell, Blood Fiend Ancestor's body suddenly began to swell, and in an instant, his skin began to become smooth and full of elasticity. In the blink of an eye, Blood Fiend Ancestor turned into a strong middle-aged man, looking very burly. A terrifying, baleful aura burst forth. It was several times stronger than before. His strong and powerful physique gave off the feeling that he had completely regained his youthfulness. In addition, his combat power has also increased explosively. 1. 5 million. 1. 6 million. 1. 7 million. 2. 1 million combat power. Finally, it stopped at 2. 1 million combat power. This is the real strength of the second level of core transformation stage. It's actually so powerful. Before, he sealed his blood chi, and the power he showed was naturally not the real state. Now, when it completely broke out, it was as high as 1 million combat power. Extremely terrifying. Yun licked his lips, and his eyes flickered. This is the real core transformation stage, much stronger than the spirit core stage. Chapter 158. Yun was the only one who remained calm in the face of this terrifying power. Shuiyun, on the other hand, was worried. This is a core transformation stage powerhouse. The power that Yun showed just now is also very strong, but it doesn't seem to be as strong as this evil blood ancestor. Yun didn't completely release his aura. Of course, it's not as strong as this evil blood ancestor, but his comprehensive combat power can crush this existence. Old Ancestor is too strong. This is the Old Ancestor's power. Qing Tianxian and the others looked at Evil Blood Ancestor in a daze. They were all shocked by this power. They have never seen their Old Ancestor burst out with his full strength. Old Ancestor, kill him. He killed too many of our elders. Old Ancestor, suck him dry to avenge our people. They immediately became bold, thinking that Evil Blood Ancestor can definitely kill Yun to avenge them. This is your real power? Yun squinted his eyes and looked at Evil Blood Ancestor. This made him have a new understanding of core transformation stage powerhouses. At first, he thought that core transformation stage is at most one level stronger than spirit core stage, but now it seems that he was wrong. Because Evil Blood Ancestor didn't release the blood essence in his body, he didn't release his full strength. Now that he released his full strength too, 1 million combat power is really terrifying. If he didn't have 8x crazy mode, he will really lose. But the result of Evil Blood Ancestor's action is very simple. That is, his lifespan will be greatly reduced. If he didn't do this, he wouldn't be able to defeat Yun. Just now, Yun already knew the gap between them. No, compared to my peak, it is still a little worse. Evil Blood Ancestor sneered. But it is more than enough to deal with you. The next moment, Evil Blood Ancestor took the initiative to step out of the fight. He instantly released his evil chi in all directions, crazily spreading in all directions, and even shrouding Yun. This evil chi can affect people's mind. If you are shrouded by it, it will definitely affect your combat power. Tianyun, be careful of that murderous aura. Shuiyun warned loudly. It's too late. You can't escape from my domain. The blood fiend patriarch snickered darkly, and a cruel blood-red light shot out of his eyes. If I don't suck you dry, I'll be letting down my dead grand disciples. Suck me dry? Tianyun sneered. That's exactly what I was planning to do. I can't waste this experience card. The weapon in his hand changed into a frost fist, followed by the absorbing star's great technique. The murderous aura around him was madly absorbed into his body, turning into a vast amount of experience. 63,000, 62,000, 64,000. With 32 times the experience, just absorbing the evil aura alone, had already reached 64,000 experience points. If he could continue absorbing like this, he would definitely level up quickly. Idiot! How dare you absorb my killing intent? You're courting death. Patriarch Fiendblood waved his hand, and the baleful energy on the ground suddenly gathered together, transforming into a giant red palm that enveloped Onion. Explode! Patriarch Fiendblood clenched his fist, and the giant red palm squeezed down, wrapping Onion in an instant. Boom! Towering murderous aura erupted like a blood ball exploding in the air, splashing in all directions. Everyone looked at the towering murderous aura. Was Onion hit by the explosion? A moment later, a vortex suddenly appeared in the towering murderous aura, sucking in the surrounding murderous aura. In just a few moments, all the baleful aura around Onion was sucked dry, leaving only Onion standing in the same place without any injuries. Not bad. Thank you for your hospitality. Onion smiled faintly. He was worried that he had no more experience points to absorb. Now there was a mobile energy fortress that he could absorb crazily. He was not in a hurry at all. His strength was enough to suppress the blood fiend Patriarch. Why should he be in a hurry? If he did not absorb the experience and level up, how could he be worthy of his 20 times experience card? It had been less than an hour since the beginning. There was still an hour left, and it would be a waste if it ended so quickly. How is this possible? Patriarch Fiendblood was shocked. His attack did not harm Onion at all. Instead, it was sucked dry, and there seemed to be no change. Under normal circumstances, absorbing so much of his murderous aura would cause him to lose his mind immediately. Unless his opponent's cultivation was much higher than his, it would more or less be affected. But now, Onion was completely fine. He was either immune to it, or his cultivation was crushing him. Nothing is impossible. Do you think I can't surpass you just because I'm younger than you? Onion's eyes flashed, and his figure flashed. He rushed toward Patriarch Fiendblood and clenched his fist. Explode! The Frost Fist's effect exploded, and a terrible freezing aura enveloped the area, instantly freezing Patriarch Fiendblood. However, he quickly reacted and began to break free from the ice. In the blink of an eye, the freezing began to lose effect. In less than a second, he was about to break free. However, half a second was more than enough. Onion arrived in front of Patriarch Fiendblood in an instant. He pressed his palm against Patriarch Fiendblood and used the Absorbing Star's great technique. In an instant, the spiritual power in his body began to be sucked out and poured into Onion's body. However, they were all converted into experience and not absorbed as blood chi. A huge amount of experience kept pouring in, starting from 60,000. At this rate, he would be able to level up after sucking him dry. Lie down. Onion's body sank, and he was pressed against the ground. His whole body was pressed against Patriarch Fiendblood's back, making it impossible for him to move. Patriarch Fiendblood wanted to get up, but he felt as if there was a mountain on his back, making it impossible for him to move. In crazy mode, Onion was much stronger than him. So how could he move? Even Spirit King Xian was suppressed by him when he was a teenager, let alone Patriarch Fiendblood. Get out of my way! Patriarch Fiendblood's body emitted a murderous aura, but it went into Onion's body and was completely absorbed by him. Don't you want to suck me dry? Come on, let's see if I suck you dry first or if you suck me dry first. Onion said indifferently, and his absorption speed didn't decrease at all. If he could improve the Absorbing Star's great technique, his absorption speed would increase a lot. Now that he had absorbed for a while, he still felt that the spiritual power in Patriarch Fiendblood's body was like an ocean, and it was not easy to absorb it. Patriarch Fiendblood's cultivation was at the core transformation stage, so it was not easy to absorb it. In the blink of an eye, the old ancestor of Qing Xian Mansion was suppressed. Qing Tianyuan and the others were dumbfounded. They thought that their old ancestor could kill Onion in a second. But now it seemed that he was being suppressed, and he couldn't even move an inch. Chapter 159. Old ancestor fiend blood couldn't move at all, and his spiritual power was being extracted by Etianyun. This humiliation is extremely strong, much stronger than Spirit King Xiantian. Spirit King Xiantian is just a divine sense, so he doesn't feel any humiliation. But old ancestor fiend blood is different. He is suppressed by a younger generation. How can he not be angry? Let go of old ancestor. Qing Tianxian roared and rushed towards old ancestor fiend blood. The other elders also did the same. They are weaker than Tianyun, but if they don't help, their old ancestor will always be suppressed. Now that old ancestor is dead, it's their turn. Facing the attack of these elders, Tianyun's eyes flash coldly. It seems that if I don't get rid of you first, I won't be able to absorb the spiritual power in peace. Immediately, Tianyun stepped on old ancestor fiend blood like a stepping stone, then rushed towards them. This scene scared them. The terrifying power made them unable to breathe. They didn't even get close to old ancestor fiend blood. They felt an extreme cold penetrating into their bones. They felt like they were going to be frozen. They wanted to run away, but in the case of a slight freeze, their movement speed is much slower than before. Since you are here, don't even think about leaving. Etianyun's eyes flashed, and with a punch, one of the elders was sent flying. Then he took a few steps forward, and with another punch, he was sent flying again. In the blink of an eye, both elders were sent flying. After spinning several times in the air, they fell heavily to the ground. A large part of their body was frozen, and it even continued to freeze inside their body. But this freezing doesn't cause any pain to them, because the system beep represents their end. Ding, successfully killed Qing Xian Mansion Elder. Reward 670,000 EXP, 11,000 crazy point. Ding, successfully killed Qing Xian Mansion Elder. The two elders were easily killed. As the Manor Lord, Qing Tianxian hid at the back, so the Frost Fist area of effect attack had little effect on him. Basically, when Qing Tianxian saw him rushing over, he ran away immediately. He was the last one who rushed over to help. Clearly, no one was willing to throw their lives away. This was especially true for the Palace Lord, who was even more unwilling to throw his life away. As a prefecture master, his future was limitless, and he wielded even greater authority. "Bastard, you've angered me," roared Forefather Fiendblood. Towering baleful energy erupted from his body. He took out a bone blade that was covered in dense divine runes. It looked like veins covering the blade. After taking it out, he aimed it at his own arm and ruthlessly cut it. Poochie! Blood splattered out and fused with the bone blade. In a split second, his power surged, and his battle prowess skyrocketed berserk. Every cultivator had a different way of exploding their power. The most common way was to burn their own blood essence to explode, which could often increase their power by a lot. Correspondingly, the price was a relatively strong side effect. After the end, their cultivation would drop, and it would take a long time for them to recover. Forefather Fiendblood didn't have much lifespan to begin with, and burning his own blood essence was a big taboo. But he was suppressed just now, and the humiliation made him want to cut Etianyun into pieces. 2 million, 3 million, 5 million battle prowess. After burning his blood essence, Forefather Fiendblood's power soared to 400,000 battle prowess, which was terrifying. It immediately overshadowed Etianyun's battle prowess, and the terrifying momentum made Etianyun feel a little pressure. No wonder he is a core transformation stage powerhouse. His power is really amazing. Etianyun stopped, and his expression was dignified. It seemed that he couldn't use up all of his spiritual power this time. Immediately, a flame flashed in his eyes, and the next moment, he ignited the dragon god bloodline in his body, and his whole body was instantly covered with dragon scales. In the case of igniting the dragon god bloodline, coupled with the superposition of crazy mode, his battle prowess suddenly exploded. 5 million, 6 million, 8 million. After igniting the dragon god bloodline, his battle prowess doubled again, reaching an astonishing 8 million. This time, he didn't use the Frost Fist anymore. The freezing effect was definitely there, but the power was not enough. He switched to the Sword of Infinity and took a deep breath. Although it's a bit wasteful, it's time to end it. It's time for you to end it. Fiend Blood killing God. Forefather Fiend Blood naturally refused to admit defeat, and with a roar, he waved the bone blade in his hand and slashed towards Tianyun, and a soaring blood-red light shrouded the surroundings. At this time, a huge phantom appeared behind him, and a blood-red demon emerged with a ferocious and terrifying face. Then, he waved the bone blade in his hand and slashed towards Tianyun. The originally blue sky was instantly covered by the blood-red color, and from afar, one would think that something terrible had happened here. Luck Aura. Activate. At this moment, Tianyun activated Luck Aura, increasing his luck by 10 times. He activated Luck Aura not just to kill Forefather Fiend Blood and obtain the treasures that dropped, but to increase the chance of a critical hit. However, even if he used it, the Sword of Infinity did not have a critical hit effect, and it was no different from an ordinary attack. However, the power was still amazing, and it turned into a long rainbow, piercing forward. He didn't need to use any martial arts, just this violent strength alone. Boom! When the two collided, the demon that Forefather Fiend Blood slashed down exploded, and even his whole body was sent flying, and he almost lost his grip on the bone blade in his hand. Tianyun was also sent flying, but it was not a big deal. On the other hand, Forefather Fiend Blood's attack was shattered. The difference between the two was obvious. No way. The Forefather has used up his blood essence, but he still can't beat him. Qing Tianxian was dumbfounded. Impossible. I want you dead. Forefather Fiend Blood was furious, and he held the bone blade with both hands, aiming at Tianyun again. Tens of thousands of demons surged out from behind him, and his strength rose to another level. Shuyin clenched her fists, full of worry. They were all worried about Tianyun's situation. However, Tianyun's eyes were filled with hope, not despair. Facing a strong enemy, his heart was as firm as a rock. Sword breaks the heavens. He quickly swung his sword to meet the attack. At this moment, the Sword of Infinity buzzed, and the divine runes on it began to tremble. Its power soared crazily, double damage. With his second strike, the double damage effect was successfully triggered. The entire sword burst out with dazzling light, piercing the sky. Boom, boom, boom. The power that could penetrate everything stabbed toward Forefather Fiend Blood, quickly disintegrating and melting the opponent's attack. Under this violent force, the bone blades that chopped down crumbled one by one and fell to the ground. Then, it easily penetrated Forefather Fiend Blood's body, and the dazzling light engulfed his body. At this time, Tianyun's appraisal, I focused on the sword, and the combat power was displayed for 7 million. No. Chapter 160. A streak of light pierced through the sky, and Patriarch Fiend Blood fell to the ground. His head had already been separated from his body, and his eyes were wide open. Then the evil blood ancestor started to flow out of his body, and in a blink of an eye, he turned from a sturdy man to a shriveled old man. Just now, he was just using the evil blood ancestor to absorb the blood essence around him to temporarily restore his youthful state. In fact, as long as the evil blood ancestor dissipated, he will return to his original state. Ding, successfully killed evil blood ancestor. Reward, 980,000 EXP, 15,000 crazy point, 100 SBS. Reward, Blood Demon Divine Art, Middle Grade Earth Level Martial Art. Devouring Divine Art, Middle Grade Earth Level Martial Art. Devouring Heaven Divine Art. High Grade Earth Level Martial Art, Rare. Reward, Blood Dragon Bone Blade, High Grade Soul Tool. Evil Blood Divine Armor. High Grade Soul Tool, Blood Jade, Rare. 10 times EXP card, 100,000 gold, Coiling Dragon Treasure Map. Ding! Successfully killed a Super Elite. Additional reward, 1 level upgrade, item. Use in Spirit Core Realm, 10,000 crazy points. Enhanced Lottery Roulette. There was a huge pile of items, and there were 2 rare items. There was even an extra coiling dragon treasure map. This made him sigh. It was really worth it, as expected of a super elite opponent. When he first saw Ancestor Fiend Blood appear and saw the golden name above his head, he knew that his chance to get rich had come. Only a super elite like this can drop good things, otherwise, the things that he got would be mediocre. Although it's not bad, it's still too bad for him. After killing the evil blood ancestor, everyone was shocked. A core transformation realm expert was killed by Yi Tianyin, just like that. The remaining Qing Tianxian and the elder directly collapsed on the ground, looking at Yi Tianyin in horror. This is their old ancestor, a core transformation realm expert. How could he just die like that? The answer is obvious. He is really dead, and he was stabbed to death by a sword. On the other hand, Yi Tianyin didn't seem to be injured. It's almost a complete victory. Why you killed Patriarch Fiendblood? A monster. The elder collapsed to the ground and cried out in terror. In their hearts, Ancestor Fiendblood had always been the strongest existence, but he had been killed by a single sword strike from this youth. Monster? Yi Tianyin sneered. Your ancestor is the monster. He must have absorbed a lot of people's blood to be able to survive until now. Based on the number of sin points he had gained from killing Ancestor Fiendblood, he could tell how many people he had killed to accumulate such a number. It didn't matter how many creatures were killed. If killing a butterfly or a fish could accumulate sin value, it would be too exaggerated. Only by killing people could he increase his sin value. The more he killed, the more sin value he accumulated. As for the demonic beasts that he had killed before, because he had not killed many of them, he did not have any sin points. Because it was a powerful demonic beast, it gave it a sin value. If he killed ants or something like that, he wouldn't be able to get any sin points. Because there was basically no danger, he wouldn't be able to get any sin points. Not even the XP Qing Tianyin's face was pale. He turned around and ran without any hesitation. He didn't even bother to pay attention to the elder next to him. Mansion Lord! When the elder saw his Mansion Lord running away, he hurriedly got up and ran away with him. Their escape direction was relatively simple. That is, the giant eagle in the distance. They just wanted to escape on the giant eagle. It was their fastest way to escape. I already said, since you are here, don't think about leaving. Yi Tianyin's eyes were cold. He chased after them in the blink of an eye. In crazy mode, his comprehensive strength is too terrifying. He can even kill a core transformation stage cultivator, let alone a mere spirit core stage cultivator. When he was about to catch up, Qing Tianyin suddenly dragged the elder next to him and threw him towards Yi Tianyin. Get over here. Mansion Lord, you. The elder was scared. He didn't think that his Mansion Lord would do such a heartless thing. They had done their best, but in the end, they were abandoned, and so decisively. Yi Tianyin's eyes flashed. He didn't show any mercy. He slashed his sword. The elder was cut in half. Qing Tianyin, you will die a horrible death. The elder didn't blame Yi Tianyin. Instead, he cursed Qing Tianyin. Qing Tianyin didn't look back. He took advantage of this time to get into the feather carriage. He quickly drove the giant eagle to take off. But just as it took off, the black dragon spat out a scorching flame, burning the giant eagle. Hisse, you want to escape on the giant eagle? Aren't you a little too naive? Yi Tianyin walked over. Qing Tianyuan ran out of the feather carriage in a panic. He forgot that Yi Tianyin has such a black dragon. How can he escape? This time I lost. As long as you let me go, I will make you the Mansion Lord. From now on, Qingxian Mansion will be under your management. I will listen to your orders, and everything in Qingxian Mansion will be handed over to you. Qing Tianyin begged for mercy. These conditions are very good. After I become the Mansion Lord, I will develop Qingxian Mansion. Then you will stab me in the back, and I will inherit the Qingxian Mansion? Yi Tianyin sneered. No. Why would I do that? Qing Tianyuan wiped the cold sweat off his forehead, but his thoughts were different. Right now, all he wanted was to survive. He didn't care how he would take revenge in the future. Whether you do it or not, just the fact that you want our palace lord to be your concubine is enough for you to die 100 times. Yi Tianyin's voice was cold. It was bone-chilling. This. Qing Tianyuan looked at Yi Tianyin's horrified expression. His heart skipped a beat. he immediately knew what he had done wrong. Listen to my explanation. I deserve to die. Swoosh. A sword light slashed across. Qing Tianyuan didn't even have time to react, and his head was already separated from his body. Even if the treasure on his body released a protective shield, it was easily pierced through by the sword. Since you said that you deserve to die, then die. Tianyuan put away the sword of infinity, and then the system's voice sounded in his ears. Ding, successfully killed Qing Xian Mansion. Mansion Lord Qing Tianyuan gained 780,000 EXP, 13,000 crazy point. Obtain martial art Qing Yun sword technique, Qing Yun steps. Obtain treasure Jade Pearl, Commander Grimoire. Ding, congratulations to player Tianyuan. Successfully broke through to 6th level Spirit Core. Ding, 20 times EXP card time up. Ding, 3 times crazy point card time up. Chapter 161. Phew, it's finally over. Tianyuan breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he had leveled up crazy mode. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to kill Ancestor Fiend Blood. He was just too strong. He believed that if this continued, he wouldn't be able to win even with crazy mode. A second-level core transformation stage cultivator already had more than 2 million combat power. What about third-level core transformation stage? Fourth-level core transformation stage? There was no danger now, but it did not mean that there would be no danger in the future. As long as one existed in this world and had a certain amount of power, there was a possibility of being targeted. These days, if you don't cause trouble everywhere, people won't come looking for you. There is a saying that a tree that stands out in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. If Jade Palace continues to grow, it will also be targeted by other forces. If he didn't increase his cultivation, he would also be targeted. Unless they lived in seclusion in the mountains, but if they were found by people with bad intentions, they would still be in danger. In this world where the strong preyed on the weak, there was no place that was absolutely safe. Only by continuously increasing their own strength and the strength of the sect could they protect everything. Let's see how the situation is now. He checked his current attributes and got rid of some of the martial arts and weapons he didn't need. He kept some of the better ones and listed out the details. Player, Tianyuan level, 36, 6th layer Spirit Core Realm, EXP. 1373689 crazy points prestige. 430 sin points. 956 cultivation techniques. Dark North Divine Art, Dragon God Technique, Xian Tian Divine Art, Heaven Devouring Divine Art Techniques, Absorbing Stars Great Technique, Blood Fiend Soaring Sky, Qing Yun Sword Technique, Qing Yun Footwork Weapon, Frost Fist Blood Fiend Divine Spear, Sword of Infinity, Chaotic Heaven Sacred Axe, Blood Dragon Bone Blade Armor, Divine Armor, Shadow Cloak, Chaotic Heaven Divine Armor, Chaotic Heaven Battle Boots, Fiend Blood Divine Armor Divine Ability, Crazy Mode, Lucky Halo Bloodline, Dragon God Bloodline Ornaments, Forging God Hammer, Power Bracelet, Power Ring, Power Belt, Blood Fiend Bracelet All items. 8 Recovery Pills, Level 41 Gift Pack, HP *1, Bad Luck Pill, Storm Pill, 10x EXP card. Treasures, Purple Fire Divine Furnace, Blood Jade Stone, Coiling Dragon Treasure Map, Jade Pearl, Commander Grimoire Title, Guardian, Savior Flame. Immortal Flame seeing more than 1 million crazy point, he smiled. He just killed so many cultivators with the help of triple crazy card. His crazy point can be said to have skyrocketed. His sin points didn't increase by much. Sin points were the hardest to increase. It was still considered a lot. However, what caught his attention was the additional rare items. Heaven Devouring Divine Art, High Rank Earth Level Martial Art. Cannot be upgraded. Able to absorb the surrounding elemental energy and integrate it into one's body to increase one's strength. Note, depending on the attributes of the user and the surrounding environment, the absorption effect will be different. This made Tianyuan's eyes light up. This was definitely a good item. He could absorb the surrounding elemental energy to strengthen himself. This was another way to strengthen himself. The more the better. No wonder it was called a rare product. Blood Jade Stone. A rare consumable item used to replenish blood essence. It can be used to replenish blood essence according to the user's condition. There was no limit to the number of times it could be used, and it would shatter upon use. Replenish blood essence? Very good. Yun was shocked. This was a good thing he needed right now. Coiling Dragon Treasure Map. Treasure map containing Dragon Vein. Recommended to be at least 5th level Spirit Core, Jade Pearl, Cultivation Type Pearl. Wearing it on the body can double the speed of cultivation. Commander Grimoire. After equipping it, it can increase commander points and can condense people. After checking, Yun's eyes lit up. They were all good items. It seems that after activating Luck Aura, all the items dropped were good, but it depended more on what the other party had. Otherwise, if there was no treasure in this area, it would be impossible to drop it no matter how high Luck Aura was. Tianyun, you're amazing. Shuyin walked over. Her body was a little shaky. Tianyun quickly walked over and supported her. Anne, are you okay? It's okay. I just need a little rest. Shuyun's face was pale. It was obvious that she had overdrawn a lot of blood essence. Her aura was also extremely weak. Nonsense, Tianyun said with a straight face. Your face is so pale. How can you tell me that you are okay? Immediately, Tianyun took out the blood jade stone, and as soon as he took it out, a rich blood chi came out of it, and the elder who came over was shocked. What a rich blood chi! What kind of treasure is this? They were all stunned. Some of the old ancestors' eyes showed a bit of desire. These ancestors, to put it bluntly, were old fogies. What they desired the most was some treasures that could replenish their blood energy. This way, they could prolong their lifespans and live for a longer period of time. However, whether or not he could make a breakthrough during this period of time was another matter. However, Tianyun was able to kill a core transformation stage powerhouse. They didn't dare to move, let alone speak. Just now, Tianyun said he would kill without mercy, so he didn't dare to say anything. Annie, absorb this. It can replenish your blood essence. Tianyun put the blood jade stone in her arms and said, No, I can't accept this. You have sacrificed too much for this sect. How can I accept your things? I'll be fine after a rest. No, you have to absorb it now. Otherwise, I will be angry, Tianyun said with a straight face. Shuyin looked at Tianyun's determined eyes. Immediately, she sighed softly and absorbed the blood chi. Thick blood chi flowed into her body. Her face became slightly ruddy. The blood chi in her body was continuously replenished. The effect was too obvious. This situation made them jealous. This was definitely a top-grade treasure. However, they didn't say anything. It was not because of Tianyun, but because Shuyin had sacrificed too much. Basically, her blood chi was depleted. It would take several years to replenish it. During this period of time, not only would her cultivation decrease, it would also affect her talent. Therefore, even if they had this blood jade stone, they would give it to Shuyin to absorb first. I am much better. I can absorb it now. After absorbing for a while, Shuyin's face became much better. She quickly returned the blood jade stone to Tianyun. No, absorb it for me until I feel that you're fine. If you don't absorb it, I'd rather smash it than keep it, Tianyun said with a straight face. He still has no intention of letting go. Shuyin said helplessly. Okay, I will absorb it. Is that okay? She could only listen to Tianyun's order. She began to absorb the blood jade stone. When the whole blood jade stone became translucent, her condition finally improved. It's amazing. I feel that my blood chi has completely recovered. Moreover, it's a lot stronger than before. Shuyin felt a lot better after absorbing the blood jade stone. That's for sure. The thing I gave to Ant is naturally not bad. Tianyun could see that Shuyin's condition was completely better. Her cultivation even improved a level. She was now at the peak of core condensation. If she continued to advance, she would be able to break through to Spirit Core stage. Previously, she relied on burning her blood essence and palace treasure to temporarily promote her cultivation to Spirit Core stage. Now that she has recovered, she is naturally at core condensation. But after absorbing the blood jade stone, her cultivation has improved. Cultivators are so magical. After experiencing a life and death battle, they can often have a breakthrough. Shi Shuiyun is one of the best. After every battle, her cultivation can advance by leaps and bounds. Of course, compared to Yi Tianyin, who has this system, the difference is not small. There is no comparison between the two. Immediately, he put away the blood jade stone. Those old ancestors looked at the blood jade stone and did not dare to ask. Yi Tianyin knew what they were thinking, but this blood jade stone is a good thing. Naturally, he will not give it to them. Chapter 162. Shi Shuiyun completely recovered with the help of blood jade stone, and it took a very short time. Under normal circumstances, according to Shi Shuiyun's situation, even if she relies on some good blood essence pill, it will take a few years to recover. Unless there is some kind of blood essence pill, but the price is quite amazing, and it is not sold in the Earth border continent. If there is no similar supplement, it will take a few decades to recover. Blood essence is equivalent to your own life. You can squander it when you are young, but for old ancestor level, it is equivalent to reincarnation. Blood jade stone is such a heaven-defying treasure. In a short time, it doesn't take a few years, but a few hours to recover. It doesn't take an hour to completely recover. During this period, the other corpses have been cleaned up. Many disciples showed a happy expression on their faces. This is completely the feeling of surviving a disaster. Looking at Yi Tianyin's eyes is full of worship. Yi Tianyin looked up. He can see that their favorability towards him has exploded. Each of them has reached more than 100. He doesn't need to do any quest to increase their favorability. Originally, favorability is something that increases with his behavior. The quest just forcibly increases it. After collecting the spoils of war, they all return to heaven's immersing ancient ruins. The overall situation is not bad. Most of them have no problem. They all hid in heaven's immersing ancient ruins, so there is no big problem. If they didn't hide in heaven's immersing ancient ruins before, most of them would have been taken away. Therefore, the injured are basically only elder level. The rest of the weaker cultivators are not a problem. It's not that they don't have the courage, but going out is only courting death. In the face of so many strong cultivators, there is no point for them to go out. They can't even be regarded as cannon fodder. At this time, Zhu Yue and others came back, and when they heard that there is no problem here, they hurried back. When they learned that Yi Tianyin has cleaned up all the corpses, all of them were shocked. A Qingxian mansion was destroyed by him. Miss Zhu, how about you join our Jade Palace in the future? Yi Tianyin formally invited her at this time. You want me to join Jade Palace? Zhu Yue froze. Others also froze. Not to join Jade Palace, but isn't this pavilion Master Z? Why is her surname Zhu? Yes, Wind Pavilion is a garbage place. There is no need for you to go back. Yi Tianyin smiled and said, I feel that Jade Palace is lacking an elder who knows how to manage big and small affairs. I want you to be the elder in charge of Jade Palace. There is no need for me to say the rest. With your talent, I believe you can manage this place perfectly. Wind Pavilion is thriving under your management. I believe this responsibility is very suitable for you. Don't worry. We will give you the greatest authority. You can manage it as you see fit. Let me be an elder of Jade Palace. This Zhu Yue is dumbfounded. She didn't expect Yi Tianyin to say this. But isn't this too much? Palace with sure elders also. This is his palace. His palace with sure is this is palace of. Since Tianyin said so, it proves that Miss Zhu is trustworthy, and you chose to support us without hesitation. This is enough. Since Tianyin said so, it proves that Miss Zhu is trustworthy. Moreover, you chose to support us without any hesitation. Just this thought alone is enough. Shi Shuiyun smiled and said, Here, I formally invite you to be our elder. I don't know. I support Miss Zhu to become an elder. You risked your life for us, plus your position in Wind Pavilion. Everyone can see that. I support Miss Zhu to become an elder. She sacrificed her life for us, plus her status in Wind Pavilion. Everyone can see that. Great elder echoed. She has a good impression of Zhu Yue. After all, she risked her life for them. There is nothing more sincere than this. Zhu Yue blushed. There are so many people supporting her, plus Yi Tianyun's words. She is very tempted, but now she has nowhere to go. Zhu Yue blushed. So many people support her, plus Yi Tianyun's words. She is very tempted, but now she has nowhere to go. Okay, but I am also very strict with myself. If I don't improve Jade Palace within a year, I will leave on my own. Zhu Yue's expression is serious. This is obviously not a joke. This statement made many people more convinced. With such determination, how can it be bad? Yi Tianyun smiled and nodded. He believes that after a while, Zhu Yue's usefulness will immediately manifest. Her management ability is very strong. Jade Palace is not a treasure house, but she is undoubtedly a very suitable candidate for mixing materials or purchasing spirit herbs and so on. Here, I want to make a request to the elders. I intend to let 2 people become reserve elders. Yi Tianyun said. All the disciples present are here, so they can hear what they are talking about. Reserve elder? Which 2? The elders are puzzled. The first, Sister Xiao Lian, the second is Jiu Mei. Yi Tianyun motioned Lu Minglian to come out. Lu Minglian and Jiu Lingyun came out, completely dumbfounded. Let them become reserve elder? The first reserve elder is Sister Xiaolian, and the second reserve elder is Sister Jiu. In this crisis, Sister Xiao Lian and Jiu Mei performed well. In addition to taking the lead and treating the wounded, they also comforted the people and often went out to find ingredients. This courage, this leadership ability, is enough to be a reserve elder. Their cultivation may not be the highest, but their leadership ability is the most outstanding. Just now, Yi Tianyun has already learned some of the situation from the other disciples. Their cultivation is not the highest, but their leadership ability is very high. This is enough. He has no selfishness in this, but he really saw their enthusiasm, their leadership ability. This is what an elder should have. The other disciples nodded. Their eyes showed a look of approval. They all saw it. The disciples with higher cultivation bases didn't say anything. They all nodded. At this critical moment, they were the ones who had panicked and felt very ashamed. To be honest, this is my first proposal as an elder. The elders and the palace master can discuss it themselves, Yi Tianyun said. There is no need to discuss. I agree. Shi Shiyin did not even think about it. I also saw their performance. Even if you don't say it, I already have this idea. Yi Tianyun smiled. No matter what, Ant stood by his side, chose to agree with him. The other elders looked at each other, but did not say anything, whether they have ideas or not. They can only choose to agree. Yi Tianyun has the highest status, the most popular. Who dared not to support him? Moreover, they also know the situation. They're all convinced. Very well, now I will leave everything here to you. The rest, I plan to go to Qing Xian Mansion and uproot it. Yi Tianyun's eyes were cold, full of killing intent. You don't want to take me? Shi Shiyin smiled indifferently. Yi Tianyun nodded and said with a smile, how can I not agree to the palace master's request? Chapter 163. After making the necessary arrangements, Yi Tianyun and Shi Shiyin boarded the Black Dragon and flew directly to Qing Xian Mansion. After the battle, the Black Dragon's cultivation had skyrocketed. Now, it had reached level 3 of Spirit Core stage, which was much stronger than before. Therefore, its flying speed was much faster than before. And don't you want to ask me why my cultivation is so high all of a sudden? Yi Tianyun suddenly thought of this question, except the first time he asked this question. Although the initial explanation was a cliché excuse of having the help of an expert, the speed at which his cultivation broke through was truly incredible. This was obviously beyond common sense. Within a month, he could even kill a core transformation stage cultivator. Why should I ask? Shi Shiyin smiled lightly. As long as you are still Tianyun, no matter what you do, I will follow you, I will accompany you. If you die from cultivation deviation, I will guard your grave until I die. I will never abandon you. Her calm tone was telling a different story. Annie, Yi Tianyun was startled. He didn't expect that Shi Shiyin would say such words and trust him unconditionally. The atmosphere suddenly became heavy. This topic was obviously a bit sad. Shi Shiyin looked at him and then looked at the front. She said casually, I wanted to die with you, but if I die, who will burn incense for you, who's going to pay their respects to you. It's enough that I can protect you. Yi Tianyun's heart was touched. He reached out and gently hugged Shi Shuiyun. He couldn't say a word. Shi Shuiyun didn't say anything. She just quietly leaned on the side. Suddenly, she looked up and smiled. I don't know when your chest became so strong. It wasn't so strong before. Is that so? Then lie down a little longer. Yi Tianyun didn't know what to say now. Shi Shuiyun didn't speak. She continued to lie in his arms and closed her eyes. It seemed that she was enjoying the peace. Under the leadership of the Black Dragon, they returned to Heavenly Boundary Continent and flew directly to Qing Xian Mansion. He had inquired about Qing Xian Mansion before, so he roughly knew where it was. "Aunt, the preparation is coming." Yi Tianyun's expression is serious, and a cold light flashes in his eyes. "Well," Shi Shuiyun responded softly, but she didn't get up, still leaning on his chest. The people below looked over and were shocked by the situation. A man and a woman were riding on a black dragon. They looked like an immortal couple. Black dragon. Someone can use a divine beast as a mount. I have never seen such a thing in my life. To be able to use a divine beast as a mount, it must be a disciple of a fourth-level sect. It's scary. Which empire are they from? Why are they here? The cultivators passing by were all pointing at this side. They were all shocked by this scene. Although Yi Tianyun has chosen a remote place to fly, he still met some cultivators. At this moment, Qing Xian Mansion is no different from usual. I don't know what happened to the mansion lord and the others. Jade Palace is probably finished. I heard that there are a lot of female disciples in Jade Palace. If we bring them back this time, we can enjoy ourselves. One of the deacons of Core Condensation Realm smiled. His face was full of wretchedness. That's true. Those little girls are all tender. Bring them back and have a good time, then throw them to the brothel outside and sell them. A female disciple who can cultivate, the price is not low. Another deacon followed with a smirk. He was already thinking about how to play with the captured female disciple. It's not just these deacons. The rest of the disciples thought that Jade Palace is going to be completely captured. I heard that Jade Palace used some despicable means to kill our elders. So many elders are going to kill them. Let's see if they can survive. Capture them all and make them our female slaves. Female slaves? That sounds too bad. They'll become our personal maids, and they'll reward us core disciples with one each. Just the thought of it is exhilarating. They're all young cultivators, much better than those ordinary cultivators. That's not it. Who told Jade Palace to provoke us? Profound Azure Mansion. Let's destroy Jade Palace and let them know our strength. Becoming female slaves is still light. It should be slaves for generations. They're extremely arrogant. Trash sect like Jade Palace, they simply look down on them. There is a huge gap between first-level force and third-level force. It's like a chasm. It can't be filled. Slaves for generations? That's really arrogant. Do you really think that just because you became a third-level force, you're the strongest? At this time, a black dragon fell from the sky and heavily pressed on the martial arts square of this Qing Xian Mansion. The ground shook, attracting everyone's attention. When they saw this huge black dragon, they were shocked. Divine Beast Black Dragon? They haven't seen Dragon Race before, but they have heard the corresponding description or read the corresponding picture book. The black dragon in front of them has drawn out their memories. Who are you? They feel the terrifying momentum. Their body is trembling. They can't bear the terrifying momentum. Yi Tianyun and Shi Shuiyun came down from above and summoned a huge snow wolf next to them, looked at them coldly and said, "Aren't we the trash Jade Palace? Your elders and mansion lord are dead. Now you are the only ones left. I thought I would let you go, but now it seems I can only say that you can escape, even if you have the ability. If you can't escape, then this place will be your grave. Do it." Yi Tianyun waved his hand. Black Dragon and Snow Wolf immediately rushed to the side. Black Dragon's huge body is even more outstanding in destroying buildings. When they rushed to the side, Yi Tianyun and Shi Shuiyun looked at each other and smiled. "Let's go to Qing Xian Mansion and take away all the treasures and martial arts. These are our spoils of war." While these things are not taken away, they quickly take it. Otherwise, like last time, the three major forces were killed, but when they arrived, everything was already taken away. This time is different. The remaining disciples of Qing Xian Mansion don't know the situation, so there is still time. Ding. Successfully killed Qing Xian Mansion disciple. Gain 10. 000 EXP. 200 crazy point. Ding. Successfully killed Qing Xian Mansion deacon. Gained. Chapter 164. Yi Tianyun and Shi Shuiyun are aiming at the library pavilion and crazily rush into plunder. These library pavilions have corresponding spirit arrays, but for Yi Tianyun, it's meaningless. He just needs to break the spirit arrays by force. It's so boring. Mansion Lord brought so many people. Unfortunately, I can't go. Otherwise, I really want to go and see. Jade Palace dares to go against our Qing Xian Mansion. If I go, I will definitely crush them. The old man, sitting in the library pavilion, said with some boredom. Immediately, two figures appeared in his sight. The deacon of the library pavilion hurriedly stood up and said with a serious expression, "You, who are you?" Although Qing Tianxian took away a lot of experts, but there are still some left here. Otherwise, this place is empty. There are a lot of forbidden places, so people can enter at will. Didn't you say that you want to crush us? Now I'm here, come and crush me. Yi Tianyun rushed up and kicked the deacon. With a bang, the deacon was kicked out and crashed into a pile of bookshelves in the distance. A pile of martial arts fell down and buried him. Ding successfully killed Qing Xian Mansion deacon. Obtained. After that, they started to plunder the library and completely cleaned out the entire library. As long as it's martial arts, all of them are stored in the storage ring. Human-level martial arts? Take it away. Earth-level martial arts? Take it away. After plundering the library pavilion, they began to plunder other places for treasures. As long as someone intercepts them, they are all punched away by Yi Tianyun. Shun doesn't even need to do anything. She just helps them to plunder the treasures. When Shi Shuiyun wanted to help, she was stopped by Yi Tianyun. He said that he can do the heavy work. Shi Shuiyun smiled and didn't say anything. She just let Yi Tianyun do it. Pill, take it away. Spirit medicine, take it away. What grade of weapon? No matter what, take them all away. Everything was taken away. In any case, they had brought a lot of storage rings this time, and they were completely used to move things. Everything was taken away at once. Huh? There's a basement here? When Yi Tianyun was inspecting the treasury, he discovered that there was a secret passage leading down. Could there be some secret inside? They looked at each other and quickly walked down. The deeper they went, the more they could smell the thick smell of blood coming from inside. At this time, they already knew the answer in their hearts, and their eyes revealed cold gazes at the same time. As they walked down the steps, a strong smell of blood wafted towards them, causing them to frown. What greeted his eyes was simply hell. A bloody hell? This place was filled with blood, and there were pools of blood all around. There were no corpses, but it was all blood. How many people did he have to kill to accumulate so much blood? Sob, sob, sob. Don't kill us. Don't kill us. Woo, woo, woo. At this time, cries came from ahead, causing them to look up. They discovered that there was a metal cage hanging in the sky, and there were many children inside. These children were all ordinary people, but they looked very intelligent. Bastard. Yi Tianyun cursed. Without a doubt, these pools of blood were the blood of these children. Save them. They quickly rushed up and quickly untied the cage hanging above and let the children down. When they just let them down, the children cried even more miserably. Woo-woo, don't kill us, don't kill us. We are very obedient. We will do anything. Don't kill us. Let's meet mother, father, mother. Where are you? They all cried very miserably and looked at Yi Tianyun and the rest in fear. Children, don't cry. Big sister is not a bad person. Big sister is here to save you. Shi Shuiyun began to comfort them. She used a sweet smile and a gentle tone to comfort their hearts. Really? Big sister is not a bad person. Big sister looks prettier than those bad people. You don't look like a bad person. One by one, they began to calm down. It seemed that the people who came this time were different. Then, Shi Shuiyun opened the cage and let them all out. After they came out, they didn't dare to run away. They all looked frightened, and they were so hungry that they were sallow and emaciated. Annie, take them out first. I will take care of this place. Etienne's eyes were filled with anger. Sure Shuyun nodded, then led the dozen children out, away from this ghastly place. After they left, Etienne's hand burst into flames. This was the inextinguishable flame. This should be the place where ancestor fiend blood absorbs blood essence. Obviously, he conquered the earthly boundary continent to plunder more children. These damned bastards! Etienne angrily threw out the inextinguishable flame, which quickly burned. He frantically threw out the inextinguishable flame, and piles of flames enveloped the entire area. No matter how many treasures there are here, he didn't even look at them. He just threw out the flame and burned everything here. After igniting the flame, Etienne quickly evacuated from here. His heart was quite heavy. These cultivators, in order to break through and prolong their lifespan, they will do anything. When he went out, the outside has been almost destroyed by Black Dragon. Both of them are extremely fierce demon beasts, and their cultivation is not low, so the destruction of the buildings is quite amazing. Especially Black Dragon. Its huge body is enough to suppress everything. By the time they came out, all the buildings in front of them looked as if they had been swept away. They were all in ruins. All the disciples present are either dead or escaped. Black Dragon and Snow Wolf alone can't kill all the disciples. Etienne is not a particularly bloodthirsty type, so he didn't deliberately kill them. Chapter 165. The actions of the Qingxian mansion had aroused Etienne's anger. When he first saw Ancestor Fiend blood, he knew that something was wrong with him. He absorbed the blood essence of others to live. He didn't expect that he would absorb the blood essence of children to extend his lifespan. He was worse than an animal. In order to survive, in order to enhance their cultivation, they would do anything. They had completely entered a state of madness. Ding! Completed the hidden mission, rescue the trapped children from the hands of the devil. Obtained 100,000 experience points and 100 prestige points. At this time, the system's voice sounded in his ears. He had gained 100 prestige points. This should have been a very happy thing, but now he couldn't feel happy at all. In fact, he was quite angry. If he didn't destroy the Qingxian mansion, this kind of thing would definitely continue. Even many children from families in the Earth boundary continent would be kidnapped. As long as someone continued to cultivate this evil skill, they would definitely do this. This time, it was Ancestor Fiend blood. Next time, he didn't know which ancestor it would be. The Ancestor Black Soul he met before was like this. He occupied a mountain and acted as a king. God knew how many innocent lives were sacrificed to the evil Black Dragon's spiritual vein. It was undeniable that his hands were stained with a lot of blood, but at least he would never attack innocent people. He wouldn't attack good people, and he wouldn't take the initiative to attack. As long as people didn't provoke him, he would never attack them. If people don't offend me, I won't offend them. If people offend me, I will pay them back 100 times. This had always been the bottom line in his heart. Tianyin, don't think so much. There are some things that we can't control, but at least we do some things. Sure Shuiyun smiled at him. Etienne took a deep breath, nodded and said, "It's okay. I just thought about it for a while. Let's go. Take these children back." He signaled the Black Dragon to land. Then, he led the group of children to climb on the back of the Black Dragon. At first, these children were frightened, but after being comforted by Shi Shuiyun, they were not so afraid. "Let's go." Etienne controlled the Black Dragon to take them back to the heavens, immersing ancient ruins, leaving behind the Qingxian mansion covered in flames. When the flames extinguish, all that's left will be ruins. Not long after they left, a figure flashed over and looked at the departing silhouette. Even the Qingxian mansion has been destroyed. Who is that kid? Even the Black Dragon is willing to be his mount. If it wasn't tamed from a young age, it's very rare for it to become a mount. The middle-aged man narrowed his eyes as he watched them leave. His gaze was gloomy as he said, "Looks like I have to go back and tell the great emperor about this." It seems like there's a restless force rising in this continent. After that, his figure gradually became transparent, and he quickly disappeared without a trace. Soon, Tianyun and the others returned to the heavens, immersing ancient ruins. There's been a lot of changes here. It seems like everything is moving in an orderly manner. Due to the destruction of the Qingxian mansion, they have more places to move around. Zhu Yue began to constantly go out to purchase various materials. They collected a lot of spoils of war, so their financial resources suddenly became a lot stronger, so they have enough funds to strengthen Jade Palace. When they came back, they heard a pleading voice. Pavilion Master Z, please come back as our Pavilion Master. Our Heavenly Rain Pavilion can't do without you. That's right, that's all Elder Yu's fault. It has nothing to do with us. If we were here, we would definitely help without hesitation. That's right, we have a good relationship with Jade Palace. Even if it's Qingxian Mansion, we will still help. When Tianyun and the others came back, they saw a group of people begging Zhu Yue in front of them. They even called her Pavilion Master Z. They don't know her real surname. Zhu Yue said with a cold expression, "Is that so, Pavilion Master Wang? Didn't you put Elder Yu beside me to monitor me? Isn't it to correct my mistakes?" She is not a fool. She already knows the identity of Elder Yu. It was true that she was the Pavilion Master, but Elder Yu's words carried more weight than hers. Furthermore, she was the elder who had been in contact with the headquarters. Her every move had to be reported. This time she chose to support Jade Palace. Elder Yu is definitely not willing. She believes that the headquarters has already thought about it. Now the winner is king. The loser is in the wrong. They are a typical belated shot. Now they come to beg her to change her mind and return to Heavenly Rain Pavilion as the Pavilion Master. In Zhu Yue's view, it's not that she has the ability, but Tianyun became the winner of this war. Being able to destroy Qingxian Mansion means that Tianyun has terrible power, so they will definitely come here to claim their relationship. The middle-aged man is embarrassed. He is not someone else. He is the chief pavilion master of Heavenly Rain Pavilion. His cultivation is at 8th level core condensation. He is quite strong. But now he is like a dog. He came to beg Zhu Yue to go back. Zhu Yue's performance this time is very good. After returning, she will definitely get help from Tianyun. How can they let her go? Even if they have to bow their head, they will beg to go back. We don't mean that. In our heart, we are always willing to be friends with Jade Palace. No matter what happens in the future, we will help. If you can, I will let you come to our headquarters as the Chief Deputy Pavilion Master. Give you the highest authority. Pavilion Master Wang, there is no need to say more. Please go back. Some things are missed. I can understand that you choose to protect yourself. But now I have joined Jade Palace. I will give everything for Jade Palace, so there is no need to say more. Zhu Yue stopped their persuasion and motioned them to leave. She refused without hesitation. She had already been abandoned twice. If she were to do it a third time, then she would be an idiot. Well said. Tianyun walked in and applauded, smiled and said, "Thank you for your support. Otherwise, I really can't recruit such a talent. If there is nothing else, we still have something to do. This way, please." When Pavilion Master Wang saw Tianyun came back, his eyes lit up and hurriedly flattered. "This is Elder Yi. You are really a young hero. Before we planned to support you, who would have thought that Elder Yi would do such a stupid thing? I know that things can't be changed, but we can give more support. All materials, we will charge you 50% of the price." This is already a big loss, but unfortunately, Tianyun doesn't like it at all. "We don't need it for the time being. Please leave." Tianyun motioned them to leave. Pavilion Master Wang sighed. His intestines were green with regret. He had lost the chance to get close to a powerful force. If they can get close to this mountain, their Heavenly Rain Pavilion can really do anything they want. Unfortunately, there is no chance now. Chapter 166. When they left, Tianyun smiled and said, "Elder Zhu, it seems that your old master is reluctant to let you go, and they want you to go back and be the Chief Deputy Pavilion Master. You will have a lot more power than before." "Elder Yi, you are joking again. They look at me. Isn't it because of Elder Yi's strength?" Zhu Yue smiled indifferently. "I have already given up on Heavenly Rain Pavilion. in addition to using me, I have no other thoughts. Once I have no value, I will be abandoned immediately, and there is no difference between me and a puppet. Since I have become an elder of Jade Palace, I will do everything I can for Jade Palace. Zhu Yue's words caused everyone to be moved. Yi Tianyun just teased a little, but he didn't expect Zhu Yue to say such serious words. Yi Tianyun felt a little embarrassed. He invited Zhu Yue to join. He didn't think too much. But Zhu Yue is indeed a talent in management. Jade Palace needs this type of talent. But immediately he thought and said, "Since you said so, I believe that Jade Palace is absolutely sincere to you and will never abandon you." Zhu Yue's serious expression suddenly burst into a smile, but she didn't speak. "Sister, where is this?" At this time, the children who came back next to them looked around. They are very curious about this place. They calmed down a lot after being comforted. At this time, other disciples have come over. Looking at these children, they are very curious. Didn't they go to raise Qing Xin Mansion? Why did they bring so many children back? Immediately, Shi Shuyan said what happened. All of them showed an angry expression. Pointing at Qing Xin Mansion is too cruel. Then they're full of sympathy for these children. One by one, they take them to eat. Let them get familiar with this place. Then they began to distribute the loot. The loot from Qing Xin Mansion are piled up in the temple. When many elders saw this situation, they were shocked. So many martial arts. Is this earth-level martial arts? This is a weapon. All of them are high-level spirit tools. This is a soul tool. This is a pill? And it's a grade 4 medicinal pill. They were shocked by the amount of spoils of war. Previously, they had plundered a lot of spoils of war from the corpses, which was shocking enough. This time, they brought back even more, especially martial arts. Normally, disciples or elders of sects would not bring martial arts with them. It was completely because after cultivating in the library, he would put the martial arts back and firmly remember them in his mind. Why would he carry them around with him? Now that they had brought so many martial arts, it was undoubtedly enough to fill the gap in their martial arts. In order for a force to become stronger, it was necessary for them to increase their cultivation. However, if they did not have a corresponding powerful martial art, they would not be able to break through, and they would not be able to display their full strength. There are so many good things here. The Qingxian Mansion has so many resources. It's enough for us to become a second-grade force easily. We might even be able to reach the peak of a second-grade force. The great elder sighed with emotion. "Yes, but when are we going back?" The second elder asked. "Go back." Yi Tianyun shook his head and said, "There's no need to go back. Just stay in this heaven's immersing ancient ruins. After we repair this place, it will be our Jade Palace's territory." The elders were startled. They couldn't accept it. They had been staying on the snow mountain for a long time. If they just moved here, wouldn't they have forgotten about the ancestral land? I know you can't accept it, but from a safety point of view and from a cultivation point of view, this heaven's immersing ancient ruins is a very good place. As long as the great formation here is slightly repaired, then the concentration of spiritual power here will definitely be much higher than before. This is extremely beneficial for the cultivation of many disciples. Yi Tianyun said with a smile. "Of course, this is just a suggestion. If you really don't want to, then we can use this place as a cultivation place. He is just a suggestion. It's up to them to decide what to do." They're also hesitant. They have lived there for so many years, but it is undeniable that the environment here is better and safer. If it weren't for them hiding here, they would have already fallen. The original Jade Palace is really a place of first-level faction, but even a third-level faction doesn't have this type of temple in heaven's immersing ancient ruins. If it is repaired, it can be called a temple. If it is not repaired, it will be an ancient ruin. I agree with Tianyun's words. It's not that I am biased. Although it is nostalgic, but our ancestors migrated from the heavenly boundary continent. Isn't it the same? Shi Shuyan said solemnly. And when our forces become strong, don't you want to go to the heavenly boundary continent? His words stunned them for a moment, and then their hearts began to boil. How can they not want to go to the heavenly boundary continent and live there permanently? That is the place that all forces in the heavenly boundary continent dream of. Taking root there permanently, whether it is for the sect or not, is a sign of strength. Old ancestor, what do you think? The patriarchs were also watching from the side. They smiled and said, "This is your world now. Do whatever you want. We also want to make Jade Palace return to the heavenly boundary continent in our lifetime." Their ancestors came from the heavenly boundary continent, but why they came here, they don't know. But one thing is for sure, their ancestors must want to go back if they can go back there. It is a wish. They all nodded in unison, and they didn't say anything else. The rest is to completely move the remaining things of Jade Palace here, completely regard this place as the main sect. In the next time the whole sect began to operate, everyone began to get busy. Zhu Yue began to mobilize the entire sect disciples, arrange all aspects of things. Everything is in order. Everything is going according to the normal pace. Tianyan, on the other hand, has nothing to do, began to stay in heaven's immersing ancient ruins to cultivate. Under normal circumstances, he can cultivate, such as absorbing the surrounding spiritual power to cultivate, can also continue to gain experience. But because the concentration is too low, he can only gain a few hundred experience each time. If it was in the past when his cultivation was low, the effects would still be amazing. But now it was simply too low. He doesn't know how long it will take before he can break through. As for the more than 1 million crazy point, he doesn't want to use it for the time being. He can use it to upgrade Dragon God Bloodline or Luck Aura, but he doesn't need it for the time being. Luck Aura is enough for now. If it is upgraded, and he encounters a powerful opponent in the future, then there is no crazy point to upgrade. Everything depends on the situation. Chapter 167. Tianyan planned to repair these formations by himself, but he didn't know what grade it would take. If it was too difficult, then he would have to wait. Old Xian said without hesitation. Roughly a 5th grade inscription master would be able to repair these formations. 5th grade? Tianyan was startled. His advanced forging mastery was equivalent to a 5th grade inscription master, but it took him a long time to reach that level. Correspondingly, the improvement of his divine inscription mastery would also require a lot of practice. Yes, roughly a 5th grade inscription master would be able to repair all of them, but some of them would require a divine inscription master. Because the previous owner invited a divine inscription master to help him engrave them, you would need at least a divine inscription master to repair them. Old Xian explained, only a divine inscription master could repair all of them. Tianyan took a deep breath. How long would it take for him to reach this level? Because he had Yi Qingshuan's memory, he knew how difficult it would be. In the entire heavenly border continent, there were less than a handful of people who could reach this level. There might be more than a handful of master blacksmiths, but not so many divine inscription masters. The rarity of divine inscription masters was quite high, so it would cost a lot to invite one. In the past, Spirit King Xian Tian was able to invite a divine inscription master because of his high status. With his current situation, how could he invite a divine inscription master? Unless Yi Qingxian controlled the spirit race, she would definitely be able to invite a divine inscription master or even a divine inscription grandmaster. The spirit race was extremely powerful, otherwise the Netherworld Empire wouldn't want to control it. Take me to have a look. Let's start with the simple repairs. Tianyan got up helplessly. He couldn't repair the high-grade inscription masters, but he should be able to repair the low-grade ones. No problem. The lowest grade divine inscription is a 3rd grade divine inscription. Please come this way. Elder Xian brought him into the shrine. Then they arrived in front of some small-scale spirit gathering formations and said, "These are the simplest small-scale spirit gathering formations. They're slightly damaged. Of course, I don't know much about this, so I'll have to ask Master to take a look." Tianyan nodded. After inspecting the place, he found that it was indeed a small-scale spirit gathering formation. He hadn't had much time to investigate it before. Now that he looked carefully, these small spirit gathering arrays had been damaged a lot, but it was not a problem for him at all. Because he had the memories Yi Qingxian had imparted to him, he didn't dare to say that he knew all the divine inscriptions, but at the very least, he knew the majority of them. In fact, he even knew some of the more profound ones. It was just that his standard was too low. Even if he was given the method to inscribe the divine inscriptions, he still wouldn't be able to succeed. Regardless of the grade, according to this memory, what divine inscriptions couldn't he repair? What he lacked now was a level. Looks like it's been a long time, and the damage is quite serious. The effect is probably only about 3 or 4 times the usual. Anya nodded. No wonder old Xian was screaming like a ghost. These spirit-gathering formations are half-broken. The effect is not very good. If they continue to absorb the spirit chi, the whole heavens immersing ancient ruins will collapse. Then, he went to fetch the divine wood liquid and an ordinary gray divine rune brush. If one wanted to inscribe a divine rune, one could simply use one's finger or a divine rune brush. The most powerful way is to use one's finger, which is only possible with a very high level of attainment. It's just like crafting with bare hands and refining pills. The divine rune brush can increase the success rate. It's Etienne's first time inscribing a divine rune, so for safety's sake, it's better to use a divine rune brush to repair it. If the repair fails, it will cause the spirit-gathering array to break, which is not an ending he wants to see. Let's see where to start. Etienne looked at the spirit-gathering array. According to his current level, he can completely know where to start. All right, I have a talent, right? Let's see what it is like. He has the talent that Yi Qingxian gave him, the Heavenly Eye. He wants to see what kind of talent it is. Heavenly Eye open. Etienne's eyes flashed with a pale blue light, and immediately the whole world showed a different color. All the arrays on the ground, including those engraved on the wall, were clearly reflected in his eyes. The whole array, where the energy is thin and where the energy is abundant, can be clearly seen. Arrays can't be seen with the naked eye, especially some of the hidden ones, but with the Heavenly Eye, they can be seen clearly. It can be said that even the slightest detail can be seen, and there's nowhere to hide. With the Heavenly Eye, I can definitely see all the divine runes clearly, and it's very easy to find, repair, or break. Etienne is shocked. This gift from Yi Qingxian is really big, and very big. Lei Yin probably can't bear to kill her, mainly because of the talent of the Heavenly Eye. If this talent is involuntarily transferred, the other party can't get it out, but now it's in his hands. Immediately, he put away the Heavenly Eye, and the scene in front of him returned to normal, but the previous situation was already imprinted in his mind. This is really amazing, but the consumption is not small. He felt a little dizzy. This is something that consumes a lot of spiritual power and can't be used for a long time. With the help of the Heavenly Eye, it's even easier to repair, and even the problem can be easily seen. So how can it not be repaired? Previously, he can see the problem through normal observation, but definitely not as detailed as the Heavenly Eye. This is equivalent to seeing a doctor. Under normal circumstances, with a glance, he can roughly determine what the disease is. But with the Heavenly Eye, he can even see the cause of the disease, and then prescribe the right medicine, and everything will be fine. No wonder she can become the holy maiden of the spirit tribe. This level is really high. Start repairing it. Let's fix the small spirit gathering formation first. He immediately began to repair, and with the previous observation, after dipping the divine rune brush in the divine wood liquid, he began to draw again. As soon as he started, the whole divine rune brush emitted a faint golden light, and then it aimed at the damaged area and began to repair. In less than a moment, Etienne repaired it in one go. Ding! Successfully repaired the spirit gathering array, gained 2,000 experience points, elementary divine rune proficiency plus 50 points. Sure enough, after repairing the spirit gathering array, he could also gain proficiency in the divine rune, and even more experience points. This is similar to forging weapons. As long as you do something similar, you can gain experience and proficiency. It's repaired! After the repair, the small spirit gathering array operated at full speed, and the extraction of spiritual power from the outside was several times faster than before. Very good! This is the effect I want. In this way, the cultivation speed of the disciples in the sect can be greatly improved. Etienne is very satisfied. He wants to slowly cultivate the entire Jade Palace and continue to become stronger. Chapter 168. After Tianyan repaired one of the spirit-gathering arrays, he continued to repair the other spirit-gathering arrays. Old Xian was a little dumbfounded. He didn't expect his master to be able to repair these spirit-gathering arrays, and from the looks of it, he is very familiar with it. Ding, successfully repaired spirit-gathering array, gained 2000 EXP, 50 proficiency. Ding. Tianyan repaired the spirit-gathering arrays one by one. In this heavens immersing ancient ruins, most of the spirit-gathering arrays are mainly small ones, so that they can draw spirit chi from the ground or the outside, making the spirit chi in the heavens immersing ancient ruins more concentrated. After repairing most of the spirit-gathering arrays, the entire heavens immersing ancient ruins instantly increased several times. Everyone can feel this change. Tianyun, are you repairing the spirit-gathering arrays? Sure, Shuiyin couldn't see Tianyun, so she came to find him, but found that he was repairing the spirit-gathering arrays. Yes, I plan to repair all the spirit-gathering arrays here. Aunt, do you feel that the spirit chi here has become more concentrated? Tianyun smiled. It's obvious. It's much stronger than before. A lot of disciples said so. I thought something was wrong. I didn't expect you to repair the spirit-gathering arrays. You can even do this? Sure, Shuiyin was very shocked. Very good. The small spirit-gathering arrays are basically repaired. The next step is to repair the large spirit-gathering arrays. Tianyan stood up and said with a smile, I'll go take a look at the large spirit-gathering arrays. If I can repair them, I can't say that the spirit chi concentration here will be restored to its peak, but at least 80% or more. Repair is still repair. It's not as good as re-engraving. It's just that the spirit-gathering arrays here are already arranged. Erasing them again is undoubtedly a very troublesome thing. The most important thing is overall. Suddenly destroying a spirit-gathering array will affect the operation of the other spirit-gathering arrays. The best way is to erase all of them and then draw them all at once, but this is obviously too troublesome. You know too much, don't you? Sure, Shuyin's beautiful eyes are full of shock, feeling very incredible. Well, it's always good to know more. Tianyun smiled awkwardly. Don't push yourself too hard. You've already done enough. Sure, Shuiyun sighed. I'm not forcing myself. Annie, you're the one who's constantly forcing yourself. I've been watching. Tianyun smiled and said, All right, go do whatever you need to do. I know you have a lot of things to do. Sure, Shuiyun nodded and smiled. It seems that with you in Jade Palace, it's impossible not to become stronger. Tianyun thought for a moment, then said, That's right, and I have a suggestion. I wonder if I can mention it. What is it? Let's hear it. Sure, Shuiyun asked. Actually, it's just to recruit more disciples. I want to divide them into several categories and focus on nurturing different disciples. For example, forging, carving divine rune, and alchemy, so that the entire sect can develop in an all-round way. As for the cultivation method in this area, I can provide it. Tianyun's eyes twinkled. He wants to make Jade Palace truly strong. Truly large sects had all of these categories. For example, Qingxian Mansion has these categories. Each has different types of geniuses, but correspondingly, the cost is a lot more resources. Normal disciples are not as heaven-defying as Tianyun. They need to spend a lot of materials to cultivate, and the number of failures is extremely high. The cost is the consumption of resources. To put it bluntly, if they are too poor, they really can't be cultivated. I actually thought about this. This time we got a lot of resources from Qingxian Mansion. We can really cultivate in this area. Sure, Shuiyun smiled and said, Your idea is exactly the same as mine. That's natural. Tianyun smiled. That's good. I will go and tell Elder Zhu later. She is very good in this area. She can be said to be first class in arranging disciples. Sure, Shuiyun smiled and said, This time you can find a treasure. Our Jade Palace just lacks an elder in this area. Tianyun smiled and didn't say anything. Immediately, they began to busy themselves. Tianyun came to the large spirit-gathering array. Under normal circumstances, it needs to be 4th level to repair this large spirit-gathering array. However, he has not reached this level at all, but he wants to try. According to the appraisal eye, the success rate of repairing with his divine rune mastery is not more than 30%. With the help of Divine Eye, there should be a chance to repair it successfully. Let's try to repair this large spirit gathering array. Etienne's eyes flashed, his eyes flashed blue light, and then a large spirit gathering array pattern appeared in front of him. Where is damaged? Where is the problem? All appear in his sight. In an instant, he concentrated his energy to the extreme, relying on Divine Eye to inscribe Divine Rune. The success rate has greatly increased from 30% to 80%. This increase in success rate is quite amazing. Immediately, he took out Divine Rune pen and came to the large spirit gathering array, ready to repair it. Master, are you going to repair this large spirit gathering array? Although Old Xian is not a living being, he knows some things. Those who can repair this thing are at least 4th level Divine Rune Master. Reaching this level at such a young age is amazing. If he knew that Etienne is equivalent to a 5th level blacksmith, what kind of concept would it be? Yes, there should be no problem. Even if it fails, the impact will not be too big. From the point of view of the effect, it is better to repair the small spirit gathering array. Of course, at present, the failure rate is relatively small. This is the reason why Etienne dared to try. The degree of damage is serious. The effect is greatly reduced, even worse than the small spirit gathering array. Even if it fails, the effect will continue to weaken, and the impact will not be too big. Following that, Etienne heavily dropped the Divine Rune pen and began to repair the array. This time, the Divine Eye did not close, but remained open. Under the situation where it is open, one's spiritual energy is unprecedentedly concentrated, greatly increasing the success rate. Very quickly, he completed the repair of the large spirit gathering array. It was very perfect. The difficulty was no different from repairing the small spirit gathering array. Done. Ding! Successfully repaired the large spirit gathering array. Obtained 15,000 experience points. Proficiency increased by 500. Ding! Congratulations to player Etienne. The beginner Divine Rune proficiency has leveled up to intermediate Divine Rune proficiency. In an instant, his proficiency soared by 500 points. This is similar to the feeling of fighting someone of a higher level, exploding out with more proficiency, allowing him to successfully level up. Originally, he was already on the verge of leveling up, but now that he successfully repaired this large spirit gathering array, he easily leveled up to intermediate Divine Rune proficiency. Now, even without the Divine Eye, the success rate of the repair was close to perfect. Buzz! The moment the large spirit gathering array was repaired, a breeze swept through the entire heavens, immersing ancient ruins. Everyone felt a significant increase in spiritual energy. Very good. This is the effect I want. If this continues in less than half a month, the main mission will be completed. Chapter 169. After Etienne successfully repaired a large spirit gathering array, he continued to repair other large spirit gathering arrays, but this time he didn't need to keep the heavenly eye open. Reaching the intermediate level of Divine Rune proficiency, the level of spirit gathering arrays has greatly improved, making it very easy to repair. Then he continued to repair the large spirit gathering arrays. Repairing all the large spirit gathering arrays in the heavens immersing ancient ruins was not difficult at all. As long as the Divine Runes are within the required range, the success rate is basically 100%, so there is no need to worry about failure. It really worked. Old Xian, who was next to him, was dumbfounded. He really succeeded in repairing the large spirit gathering arrays. It is incredible. After all the spirit gathering arrays were repaired, the overall effect has been greatly improved. The spiritual energy is much stronger than before. There is no need for him to actively absorb the spiritual energy. The surrounding spiritual energy just drilled into him. To put it bluntly, sleeping can improve cultivation. Of course, this is an exaggeration. It is still not as fast as actively cultivating. Compared to the normal spiritual energy in the heavenly boundary continent, before it was just a little bit more. It is really ironic. Under normal circumstances, the spiritual energy in the heavenly boundary continent is only a little bit weaker than the spirit gathering arrays in the heavens immersing ancient ruins. But now it is completely different. It is several levels stronger than the heavenly boundary continent. This is the real cultivation, holy land. The previous heavenly boundary continent is not a cultivation holy land. According to this statement, the heavenly boundary continent is the level of holy land. Now I will try to repair the more difficult large spirit gathering arrays. See if I can repair them. If he continues to push, it will be the 5th grade divine rune. This difficulty is even more terrifying. Old Xian next to him was dumbfounded. He couldn't help but say, "You really want to continue to repair? That is the 5th grade divine rune. I will go check the situation first, then make a plan." Tianyin smiled. "Okay, the defensive large spirit gathering array is here." Old Xian came to the gate with Tianyin. The place is full of 5th grade spirit gathering arrays. All of them are defensive large spirit gathering arrays. The large spirit gathering arrays were able to withstand so many attacks before because of these large spirit gathering arrays. 5th grade spirit gathering array. Tianyin looked up and down, checking the large spirit gathering arrays. With the appraisal eye, these large spirit gathering arrays appeared in front of him. The success rate is 10%. 10% success rate? Tianyin was stunned. He had thought that the success rate would be at least 20 to 30%, but it seemed like he had overestimated it. Open the heaven eye. After activating the heavenly eye, the grand formation in front of him was completely exposed. The success rate instantly increased by 20%, reaching the standard of 30%. The success rate was still too low. It was basically no different from failure. Then he turned off the heavenly eye and shook his head. It seemed like he couldn't repair it for the time being. If the repair failed and caused the formation to be damaged, it would be troublesome. His defense had been greatly reduced. If someone were to attack him, it would undoubtedly be a dangerous matter. Although there were no more enemies now, the problem was still relatively big. Elder E. At this time, the other elders ran over and said in surprise, "The concentration of spiritual energy here has increased a lot. What is going on?" "I've repaired the spirit gathering array here, so it's naturally more effective," Tianyin said casually. This is repaired by you. You can repair these formations?" They were shocked, just like Shuyan. To them, this was simply too profound. They didn't understand it at all. According to this, Tianyin not only knows tool forging, but also alchemy, and now he knows divine rune. He is completely omnipotent. How the hell did he cultivate? Even if he started cultivating in his mother's womb, he can't reach the level of omnipotence. "Yes, but there are some that I can't repair." Tianyin looked at their shocked expression and smiled knowingly. "But this is enough. You can cultivate well. Your cultivation speed is much faster than before. With the help of medicinal pill, our Jade Palace will definitely be able to greatly increase our strength. Yes, we will definitely become a 2nd-level faction soon." They were all excited. Then they all went to do their own things. Tianyin studied alone and returned to his room to cultivate. But it's not normal cultivation. He started to refine pills and forge tools. He looted a lot of materials from Qingxian Mansion, so he can refine them well. Divine rune will be put aside for the time being. The materials at hand are too little. Even in Qingxian Mansion, the materials used by 4th-level divine rune master is pitiful. After all, there are too few 4th-level divine rune master in Qingxian Mansion. There are basically no 4th-level divine rune master in Qingxian Mansion. So he can only refine other medicinal pills first. These are more practical. As for improving to advanced divine rune master, this road is still quite long. Unknowingly, half a month has passed. He continued to refine medicinal pills and soul tools, which can give him experience and proficiency. The most important thing is that these can play a great role in making the sect stronger. Ding! Congratulations to player Tianyin for completing the main quest, Strengthen Jade Palace. Promote Jade Palace to 2nd-level faction, Jade Sect. Reward: 1 million EXP, Lottery Roulette Upgrade. Lottery Roulette Upgrade, 100,000 crazy points. He was stunned at first, and then immediately surprised. He finally completed the main quest. It took him a long time, but he finally completed it. If it weren't for the attack of Qingxian Mansion, he would have completed the main quest a long time ago. Ding. Successfully accepted the main quest, strengthen Jade Palace. Promote Jade Sect to Jade Palace and transfer it to Heavenly Border Continent. Reward, 100 million EXP, 1 million crazy points, 100,000 proficiency, can be allocated to martial arts and mastery. 100,000 sin points, life *1. Ding. Main quest step 1. Repair all the arrays in heaven's immersing ancient ruins. Reward, 1 million EXP, divine rune mastery increased by 10,000. This main quest can only be repaired by yourself. You can't ask someone to repair it. A new main quest came out, and the reward is extremely brutal. 100 million EXP, 1 million crazy points and mastery and so on. It's very simple and brutal. It's much more brutal than giving weapons and so on. Especially the 100,000 sin points, one more life. It's really amazing reward. One must know that life is worth hundreds of millions of crazy points in the merchant shop, but now it's a main quest reward. But correspondingly, this difficulty is off the charts. It should be called Jade Palace now. Should be called Jade Sect promoted to Jade Palace. That requires a lot of Spirit Core Realm and a lot of Core Condensation Realm experts. The difficulty is undoubtedly increased a lot. I don't know if I can recruit people. Etianyan thought of a bad idea. If he recruited enough Spirit Core Realm and Core Condensation Realm experts, will he be able to complete this main quest? When he thought about this, he suddenly found that next to the main quest, there is a relatively small line of words. Requires more than 200 favorability points. Seeing this, he almost vomited blood. If he wants to reach more than 200 favorability points, the people who directly find him will definitely not have 200 favorability points. Even if he threw a lot of treasures, it's impossible to rise to 200 favorability points so easily. To put it bluntly, to reach this level of favorability, it's already the type of people who are willing to sacrifice their life for him. Can a random strong person reach this level of favorability? Of course not. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.